Hi there, folks, and welcome to our Netherwar Talkback. This is Talkback 2 Electric Boogaloo, because as Kevin stated, all sequels that start with 2 must end with Electric Boogaloo. I am Andy, and as you can see, the inmates are running the asylum this week as our GM is off on his honeymoon. So we are here to give you guys an update as to, well, an update, a recap, whatever you want to call it, as to what's happened in Netherwar since the last time we did one of these things, because we have had a lot of content since then.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
As I stated, my name is Andy. I will be moderating this fine group of reprobates and miscreants, because that's what we are. And I know. I will go ahead and pass it over to Kevin, and we will just kind of do a quick introduction for those of you who may not know us, and then we'll get started with our recap. Kevin?
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm usually Overdrive when I'm not, guest starring as someone else. I'm usually here on Monday nights. My offline schedule is pretty hectic, but there's lots of good shows here. So hopefully you will come on in and stay for a while. Pass it over to Jonesy.
Oh.
Oh, you still muted?
But
Yep, I'm still muted. as I have day job flashbacks. Hi everybody, I am Jonesy. I normally play Mortis, our living dead guy. And tonight I'll be Jonesy. And I'm disappointed there's no question of the day.
Stop. I'm glad there's no
Gosh
question.
darn it, Andy.
I can do without the mental anguish of the question of the day.
I'm not stealing Alex's shtick, okay? He needs it.
I think it was Jonesy's first, actually.
Yeah, probably, actually.
Okay, hi
No
guys.
comment.
I'm Kat, and I'm playing Kat. Also, the reason that we're 30 minutes late tonight, so sorry about that. Ooh, that rhymed. I don't think there's really anything that I can say since we're not playing a game. I'm excited to see where this leads because the last one was just us talking crazily for like 3 hours. So we'll see how it goes. Go ahead, Calvin.
All right, so I am also looking forward to the controlled chaos that is these recap episodes. Hi, I'm Calvin. I'm here on Mondays playing this game. Really excited to just go over some stuff because I've been having a whole lot of fun this year playing with all of you. And I'm also on YouTube, Wed with Dice. We do stuff over there, like playing games and streamings.
Taking arrows to knees so you can't be guards anymore.
Oh, I put arrows in people.
I put arrows in people's knees.
That's right.
Exactly. That's the weak spot.
That's the weak spot. And like I mentioned, I'm Andy. I usually play Resonant for our Netherwar stream, our resident gem mage. And tonight, like I said, I get to manage and micro control this group, which is, I don't know that's even possible. So we're
You
just
will
gonna,
try.
I will try.
You will fail.
I know. I'm very, very very aware of that. But
Do or do not, there is no try.
so thank you all for hanging out with us this evening as we kind of go through a recap of Netherwar from the last recap that we had, which ended about mid book 2, if I remember correctly. We were down in Subterra dealing with Dr. Tectonic's minions, and also we got our first look at Lafandi, Resonance Home Dimension, while we were down there as well. And we kind of went from Dr. Tectonic and fixing his nano infused condition, thanks to our resident necromancer, Jonesy. That was quite a feat, actually. Dealing with the Terra King, going after the Bloodstones of Vaca, fighting the Factor 3 in a volcano, which sounds like a really bad idea for the guy who's made of water. It doesn't end well. And air rises in heat, so just there we go.
Why we kicked their butt so fast.
Huh?
That's why we kicked their butt so fast.
This is true. Except, so, for you guys, what during that specific segment of our game do you kind of remember most, if not fondly, at least, what was good story beats? Because I know we were dealing with some pretty intense themes, one pretty intense bad guy during that time frame.
Yeah, it was satisfying to take down Nightfire. I did also manage to take down that ninja who I didn't get the opportunity to do so before, which was, I don't know if I want to say it was as satisfying, but it was very satisfying.
No one is helping me do this time. Thank you.
I'm so
He's all
sorry.
mine. Oh no! Narratively, it was hilarious.
Isn't that
Moment
when Resonant made a deal with that little king guy?
It was
This is a deal more of.
It was more of like a.
More
was
of
like
a-
brainwashed almost.
no, it's that whole D&D Gaius spell where basically it's like, you will do this for me.
That was
Fine.
fun.
Yeah. You guys all trying to like, no, we're not giving them back. Guys, it's one stone. And if I don't know if Solid switches it out, I'm still fulfilling my thing. And you guys can, just to not tell me that until afterwards. And I'd be like, oh, well, I would have preferred if we kept our word, but I can't do anything about it now. So,
Yep. Technically fulfilled.
So the Deuce 82, he's asking, was it book 2 that assembled the current team lineup? Actually, I think it was just prior to book 2. It was our foray into the Terminus arc, which we did right after book 1, where we got both Kat's current Centuria and Bowman to join the team. Very end of that Terminus arc was when Bowman basically became a full-time member of both Freedom League and Freedom League Dark, if I remember correctly. Oh, and Alex is tuning in from his honeymoon. What are you doing, you silly fool? But Jonesy, looks like you get a hero point.
Jonesy's birthday in the middle of December.
Hey, he called you out.
Man.
No, Alex, you better lie low.
So,
Do we get
You could
extra
be in
hero
trouble.
points for every week until Jonesy's birthday?
That's fair.
that's good. So spoilers. We fought Nightfire that story arc. It wasn't originally supposed to be Nightfire in the module. It's not
No.
Nightfire.
It's definitely not.
It's Hell Queen. Nightfire was my fault.
Yep.
Basically, Nightfire was on my antagonist lists. Before we began the campaign, we wrote up our backstories, including like the jump between book 0 and book 1, where I fleshed out some stuff my character did during that 10-year downtime. And also when I gave it to Alex, it listed, known aliases and known allies and known enemies. And on that list was Nightfire, because I can't stand that character. And punching him is good.
Mhm.
So that was the reason Alex swapped out the villain for that. So that's why you guys had to deal with Nightfire because of me. So
Well, I don't want to. I mean, maybe it sounds like stating the obvious to people who've been doing this a while, but I mean, just for any newbie GMs out there, like that's how you invest your players in a a sort of off the shelf module. You swap out the NPCs there from your character's background. It gives the players more of a kind of a stake in what's going on. So that's, I mean, if you've been doing this a while, that's kind of 101, but something to think about if you're just getting behind the screen for the first time. It's those little things that invest your players, in the story that's going on, and their personal bad guys are part of the story. That's kind of a huge thing.
Definitely. You have that module to use as a base that'll fill in a lot of the gaps for you, a lot of things that you have to work on and might not think of, but you definitely don't want to just you don't want to throw it out there unseasoned, right? You want to change it up for your players.
Yeah.
Tenderize the meat. Tenderize it.
Yes. by
reminded
we
me.
mean tragedy.
That reminded me that is the first time that I realized that I could use Davy to mind control people because I was mind controlling Nightfire's minions. Do you guys remember?
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yes.
I forgot about that until Jonesy said it, and I was like, "Oh no, that was that fight." That was a good time. I haven't used that in a while. Sad.
Yeah. There was one other thing that happened in that whole book 2 setup while we were down in Subterra that actually set up the next personal arc, Kevin.
Why do you say it like that?
Mr. I'm going to go use the probability shard to cut off my connection to Una, and
It
therefore
seemed like a good idea at the time. All right.
After you watched what happened to me, why did
I mean,
using that seem like a good idea?
Because every time I used my powers, it was like putting the dark side into people. Like, this is not good. I've got to fix the wellspring.
That's true.
yes.
I think Alex just signed in to make sure we didn't like just bag this week. I think that's what's going on.
Well, he called me when I was setting it up, and I may have sounded less than happy. So he was probably just making sure that everything wasn't broken or on fire.
Yeah. Yes, Alex. She has your voodoo doll, and it's all primed up. So if your back starts twinging, that's what's going on.
We named him Davy.
Yes, but like I was mentioning, so after we finished book 2, we went into another personal arc, and this one was Kevin's. This was Overdrive's personal arc because of what he did in the middle of Subterra in book 2, where he went to sever Una's control of the Wellspring of Velocity from himself. And what did you do, Kevin? What did happen there?
Well, I tried to use the mirror to undo her connection to the Wellspring of Velocity, and I'm still not sure exactly what happened, but it was awful. It was real bad. The multiverse may have unwound a little bit.
Just a bit. I mean, we got inundated by speedsters from every multiversal dimension possible. It felt like,
yeah.
Specifically Strikeout and Godspeed, who Bowman got intimately familiar with.
Oh no! And Thunderbolt came back as Bolt and asked Centuria on a date, which she thought they were just hanging out as friends. Until he brought her flowers.
Yeah. After you had just spent a night with Overdrive, but your Overdrive.
All the Overdrives.
Oh my god. Yes, because he was still in there. He was still in there and not dressed. When Bolt knocked on the door, I forgot about it.
Yep.
Nope, we won't let you forget about that.
Awkward.
So
Overdrive and Oversheet. That's all it had.
Wow.
Or is that Overdrive and Underdressed?
Yeah.
That too.
Oh my god.
We dealt with so many speedster shenanigans during that personal arc just because of what Alex threw at us with basically, if I remember correctly, our Overdrive, the Overdrive from Earth Prime, body swapped with the spirit of Overdrive from Davy, which is Centuria's Overdrive from her dimension, which is why they were together when Bolt came by. And we had to recover the soul of our Overdrive. Bowman got his backside handed to him.
I was like, don't forget about Bowman getting his ass beat. That was a big part.
Look, I fully planned to just go in there. I was gonna do the thing, where the guy shoots an arrow and the person catches it and they're like, "Oh, I'm so cool, I got an arrow!" And then it explodes in their face, right? That was my plan. And so I was like, "Yeah, I'll shoot one, and the next round I'll just shoot the explosive one. I'll line up, it'll be real cool." And then they laid me out.
Yep.
I should have opened with that in retrospect.
Probably, yes.
Oh my
Bowman and his sidekick Pincushion.
And then Bowman was mean to Centuria upon arriving at Freedom Hall to go to the hospital when Centuria, has been through enough already.
Yeah. I mean, like at that point, he was like, okay, now there's more people from other universes, and half our teams replaced with people from other universes, and I got stabbed in the chest. His alarms were all going off.
Man, she'd saved his life like 6 times already, though.
That was the first time we really had. Was Jason in that stream?
Yeah, Jason was the one who I think that was like
Right.
right after I recruited him. So right when he got back, he was like, hey, there's some weird speed crimes going on. And Bowman was like, I'll go check it out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's about because that was the arc where we actually all played our depowered dependent and non-player characters.
Except for me, because you saved mine. It was the only one that we were actually able to save. From
Yeah, saved is a
Godspeed
strong
and
word.
I had to play as Tracy, okay? So shut up, Andy.
As I left her scarred for life.
Well, I think it was both cathartic and educational, Kat, for you to be Tracy for just an episode or two. So
No,
I don't
it
want
wasn't.
Certainly made me more suspicious of Sophie.
Yeah.
Not
That whole
suspi-
episode.
No,
yes. Yes, because I had to play Sophie in that episode, and then you guys were like, "Oh, wait, what?"
That was
What?
our first introduction to Sassy Andy. Before, that was our like little our
Pre-Phoenix.
prologue to Phoenix.
That's the problem. I was like, is this Phoenix coming out, or is this Sophie's real character? Like, what's going on?
I had
here?
never seen him play Phoenix before, so this was my first exposure to Phoenix. But
I'm
we're
so
not
excited
there
for more
yet.
Phoenix.
Pre-Phoenix.
No,
We're
Calvin,
way,
you're
we're way. Oh, I mean, I will blame Alex a little bit for that, from what he gave me for Sophie, and then I just was like, okay, this is what you gave me, and this is how I see that working. So this is how I'm going to play this, and everyone's going to hate me for it, but we're going to do it this way anyway.
I mean,
What?
we-
Yeah, I don't know if we ever talked fully about what you did
what he
get for
said.
that.
Yeah, what he told you.
No, I never told you guys because I couldn't, because of what I knew was going to be happening later on, which we'll get to in a bit here eventually.
Okay,
Okay.
so we can talk about it there.
Because
Yeah,
of
we can talk about
NDAs.
NDA.
I
But,
ain't signing no NDAs. That's the thing.
Yeah, Mortis and Nick both dislike Sophie. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think at this point, none of us really like Sophie. Maybe even Bowman. Like, I don't know.
Sometimes I think Bowman is still like, oh, what could have been?
I mean,
Wow.
it
She
would
wasn't
be
evil.
super dramatic if I could find a reason to justify it. Because that was my thing coming into the game. Like, first off, I was going to be like, I'm going to be the troublemaker. I'm going to be the drama guy. So I got to bring it back around.
Grey's Anatomy Bowman.
Grey's Anatomy Bowman. Okay, so Wiki is asking us if we had to play one of the other characters for an arc, which other character would you want to play?
Overdrive.
Mortis.
I
Come
feel
on,
like I
guys.
played so many other characters already. Like, I can't even answer that question. I don't know.
I mean, got to have the cool car, whatever
I don't-
character I'm playing.
Well, I mean,
Sort of cool vehicle.
I don't know if Mortis' 1970s, rock band counts as a cool car or not, but
Well, we see that's the
it
thing.
is pretty epic though.
In terms of musical taste and persona, like I could do the Mortis thing, but it's weird because my streaming persona, like when I play Supers RPGs in person, I tend to be the Paragon type, which is not anything I've done. I don't think on any of the
Mm-mm.
streams.
No.
I think
Oh, you want to be crazy Centurion?
I've avoided that archetype. Well, it's
Hey.
weird. Not so much that, like, I felt an odd resonance when you were playing your father for those couple of episodes. Oh, I could be Centurion.
You could have been Kevin.
No, it was much more amusing for you to be your own father. Like that had gravitas. That was in the moment.
Well, I would have gone with Bowman because I actually played Bowman for one episode in this stream.
It's true.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
right.
remember that.
That's
Oh my
But
God.
I played Bowman before Calvin joined our group. Because then the next time, because we did a one shot or we did a thing sidebar where we were splitting up characters and the party split up into 2 different groups, and so Bowman was an option. And I'm like,
Did you do the voice, Jones?
no, because it was before the continuity established that he sounds like Batman. So
Yes, that was a Calvin original, everyone. So
My-
thank Calvin for that.
yeah, my Bowman was a little less Bruce Wayne and a little bit more 1970s Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and he knew exactly what to do. Go right after the speedster.
The first thing I did, I shot Kevin. I'm like, boom.
Yeah, what is happening? And I feel that really set Calvin up with false expectations of how easy speedsters would be to deal with, because Jonesy was attacking me and I was defending with my dice rolls. And Calvin's like, speedsters, who cares?
Whatever. I
Oh,
mean,
crap.
to be fair, Overdrive did knock out one of Bowman's teeth, and it's still out there in the terminus somewhere.
I forgot about that.
Ooh,
I remember everything.
I remember
I remember too
everything.
many things.
What about you, Andy?
I probably would have played Centuria. I think would be my choice for that group.
Crazy Century or regular Century?
I don't know that I could have played Crazy Centuria. I don't know if I could have played it the way that you did. My take on her being traumatized would have probably been completely different. But I, unlike Kevin, when I play a supers game, I usually do not play the Paragon. I usually am not playing the brick or the tank or the shut up and punch people type of character. So I think stepping outside my comfort zone and doing that for a bit would have been fun.
Oh, we know where your comfort zone is, Phoenix. You're not fooling anybody.
You guys are funny because you guys are like, yeah, this would be cool, and I would just literally want to play Overdrive so that I can like F his life up. Like he's
hell?
dumping Tracy immediately, and then he's gonna go and he's gonna fight with Centuria, and then he's just gonna be alone.
What? Why?
Because
Kat, you should remove yourself from the stream and go join the chat, because that's where that's the vibe I'm right now. That's the vibe I'm getting right now. That anti-overdrive chat vibe.
No, she can't go anywhere. She's running this thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, never
just
mind.
log out.
Just play overdrive so I can wreck his life. What the hell?
I mean, it would be fun, but I would also just be like, never mind, give Cat control. Okay, anyway.
Because chaotic evil, yes.
Yeah, that would be fun. I think that would be fun to just run around and then just mess everything up for him.
I mean, there was plenty of that going on in that whole Overdrive saga.
Yeah, honestly, Overdrive was doing a great job of it on his own, so like I would just push it along a little bit more.
What the hell?
That's also where you had,
Are we starting a therapy night on Open Source Projects? I think I need to sign up for that.
It's also where we had featured child show up.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that was rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Katie?
Yes, Wiki.
Was her name Katie?
Yes.
Did he name her Katie?
Yes,
Yes.
he did.
I hate that. I don't think I remember that her name was Katie. She was cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That made me sad a little
She
bit.
went back into her treehouse and got her slingshot.
Yeah, like she was a badass kid.
Mm-hmm.
All the creepy things in the walls. Yeah.
In the basement, yeah.
Man.
Oh God. That was a fun but weird arc.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
we dealt with-
fought the Queen of the Under whatever, Tracy, Queen of the
Queen of the Netherworld.
Yeah, that was bad. And we blew the house up
Yes,
Did.
Sure did.
because I tore the oven out of the wall.
Yeah.
Good thing it was like just a displaced other reality house, because it was like a 1950s style house with a white picket fence around it, which did not fit in with the decor of where Overdrive was currently living.
Yeah, that would have been rough if it was his real house. I just blew up. Oh.
You did get a little bit of catharsis at the end of that, though, right, Kevin, with the end of that arc and how that ended? I said ended a lot there.
Ended.
Yeah, you did say that. I'm not sure that discovering my deadbeat supervillain father was powerless and dying of cancer as cathartic. But...
Yeah.
Not to mention all the guilt from Centuria and the entire group deciding I wasn't spending enough time with Tracy. But then every time I go to talk to Tracy, it's another emergency. Let's go, Overdrive. Jerks.
You realize that's the GM's fault. That's not our fault.
That's because
I don't-
Alex is voting for me to win.
I don't recall Alex holding a gun to anybody's head. You're all willing accomplices.
I don't think I've really been throwing Tracy under the bus.
That's true. That's
I
true.
have.
I haven't.
Mortis is being a good friend, unlike the rest of you.
Hey.
What did I do? I don't even know her.
Hey,
How do you go here?
Calvin, you lose points just for bringing Sophie into the whole mix.
Yeah, you do.
That's true.
Like you're on
That's so
all the
true.
bad
All
lists for
right,
that.
fair enough. I can accept that. Oh man, cannot wait to talk about her.
Yeah, we pretty much just blame Alex for everything in the recap episodes. So.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
To be fair, we blame him during the regular stream too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
consistency, right?
I have a lot to blame him for currently. So
That's true.
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, and I do feel Alex specifically wrecked you, Steve, because you made the statement that you were the only stable relationship in the entire party, and then Alex
Why would you say that though?
But then Alex got that little evil GM gleam in his eye, like he does. He's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, pucker up, because you're about to kiss it."
Pucker up,
Bam!
Buttercup.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous for the next episode, guys.
Oh man.
But we haven't even gotten there yet. We're still...
We're not even into book 3 yet, but I think we're about to touch into that subject in book 3. Book 3 was interesting. Toy Boy starts off with a basically Transformers drag race around Freedom City, which Bowman finally got to use his bow cycle, so he was super excited about
Yeah,
that.
man.
That was cool.
Started off really good for me. Had my successful date with Sophie. Then I got to do a car chase on my cool motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Going really well.
Then a museum got robbed,
And
and a
then,
card store got robbed, and we found out we had action figures.
I've always
hey,
had
some of us had action.
Yeah, some of us had action figures long beforehand. Yes, we know.
James,
It was a
show me
different
Coke.
dimension
I know,
Overdrive.
it's like you had one and it was
James,
from
show
a
me a
different
Coke.
dimension. Okay, but mine was accurate.
Well,
In all dimensions.
Wow.
You have one and he's freaking haunted.
It's true.
Remember when we all thought he was evil?
Yeah, and then it ended up just being my husband.
And you say that like that doesn't qualify. So
Yeah,
being-
those two things are not.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that Centuria has that in common with Mortis.
that you're dating a ghost.
We're both dating dead people.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Justice League Deadbeat. Or
Oh,
Freedom
no.
League Deadbeat. Oh, yeah, DC's going to sue somebody. I meant Freedom League Deadbeat.
Mhm. Oh,
Double
man.
dead date.
Whew. we just put Davey on the thing. You guys you can't hear him, but he's there and you know that he's there. Is it weirder that you know he's in there but you can't like
Yes.
Talk
Back
to
when I
him.
thought you were just a lunatic talking to an action figure.
Well,
Then I
especially
realized
given my
it was actually talking back to you, and there's a soul in there. Like that was extra.
especially given my powers, the fact that I can't. I should be able to talk to him, but you know.
Yeah.
I would also like to say that was not my idea. I wanted to be crazy and just talk to a doll, and Alex decided that he was just gonna put my late husband's soul in there. So
Mhm.
another thing we can blame Alex for, which also threw me off because I was trying to date Overdrive, and now I have another Overdrive that I can't.
Who was watching you the whole time?
Right.
How does that make you
Choice.
feel?
Well, apparently, in one of these continuities, Overdrive's okay with an open relationship. Just saying.
That's the problem with the multiverse. There's just too much going on.
Jeez.
But we definitely do need to add a blame Alex counter to our
Yeah.
We're on
overlay.
like 4 already.
Let's just start it at like 150. And just,
I would do
roll
that,
with
but I
it.
don't know how.
It's like
so.
rounding down.
Yeah, pretty much, Wiki.
Yes.
You make it sound so dirty.
Technically, no, because Kevin's Overdrive isn't. I mean, I don't know, Kevin. Do you have feelings for Centuria? Should we go there?
Wow. Well, I can't reveal that.
I'm
we're
just saying
only
that
in
it
book
seems
2.
like he does because
We're
when we
only in
did
book
that
2.
when we did that museum episode and she entered in like her little like purple gown and he was just like and he was like sweating. That That seems like
I try
feelings to me.
I try to bring some drama to the stream. I'm not
Mhm.
just here to break rules and make fools. So,
What?
He's just not here to be OP.
Oh my
I like
Uh,
that phrase.
That was a good phrase. But I would say, so we dealt with everything that was going on in Freedom City relating to Toy Boy, and then got pulled into the dungeon dimension by Warden, which threw all of us for a loop as we had a very special guest come in to play our long thought dead Master Mage of Earth Prime. Steve Kenson made an appearance. And please, somebody, because my brain is not helping me at the moment. What was the
Adrian Eldritch?
Adrian Eldritch. Yeah, no, I didn't die. I just tucked myself away in the dungeon dimension because I saw the future and I realized that I had to be gone until just a certain moment in time for things to work out the way they were supposed to. It's like
I hated
you
that.
couldn't. I
That
know.
is such a Kensini thing to do, though. I mean, that was perfect. It's almost like that guy created that character.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with that because I knew Bowman was going to have a very, very adverse reaction to hearing that. But then I was like, oh God, I don't want to be rude to our super special guest. I don't want to embarrass myself.
It's Steve Kenson. I'm sure he understood you were just playing your character.
Yeah, no, I know, but still.
But that is one of those things that's a really weird. It's an interesting thing to throw at the players. I think is that kind. We pulled in a special guest for it, and they give you that's the reason that they're basically sorcerer supreme of this reality decides to just basically say, I can't do anything to affect anything unless I go away for a period of time, let everything fall to heck in a handbasket, and then show up when I'm needed. I know from my perspective, I know Resonant was pretty much like, wait, you're saying that there was absolutely nothing you could do at any point in the last, what was it? Decade plus.
Yeah.
To quell this. You're saying that what you saw was set in stone. And it's like, I never think of like prognostication as being completely set in stone. It's like this is a glimpse into a possible future. But apparently Eldritch thought that this was a set in stone type thing, and he just said, "Yep, Warden, come put me in jail for the next 10 plus years, and I'll be ready when things go further south." And even though had I been there, I could have maybe stopped things from going south. I don't know. What do you guys feel? How do you feel about that?
I just have this image in my head of Eldritch putting like a target on this cardboard cutout of 7.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, because here you give the Master Mage title to a teenager who you've trained, but
just stand on this X.
Yeah. They probably were, 7 had to basically say, there's no way I'm going to be the Master Mage of Earth until into my 30s or 40s potentially. I've got a long time to learn and grow and be a person. And then nope, you're 16, great, or you're 18. You're the Master Mage now. What?
Yeah, I guess I never even thought about how Bowman's reaction would be with that. Like, Bowman would definitely be upset about that.
Yeah. Yes.
I never thought about that.
100%, because like it's with everything that went on with him being left with him, like ending the relationship before he left the planet and then coming back and she's gone. He blamed himself for that for so long. To find out it was like, well, not for nothing, but it felt like it was for nothing because Eldritch was alive, he was around, but he just was like, no, but I can't do it.
Yeah, it just.
Yeah,
I know that hit. It probably hit Resonant as hard as it hit Bowman because Resonant was like best friends with 7.
Mortis was pissed.
Yes.
Mortis wanted blood. And And if he had stick around long enough, there probably would have been. But yeah, especially given that Mortis is the reason, the vault going off, he still blamed himself for that.
Mhm.
Happened to Seven and all that stuff. So
Overdrive probably had a different spin on that because Overdrive didn't really know Seven. Like his first day at school was her exit to the underworld. But
Yes.
but at that same time, with the feeling that the loss of Seven is what fragmented the group and caused their Teenage Liberty League to break up. So like that hit Overdrive differently, but still kind of that was all. Like I think that was kind of everyone but Kat as Centuria. I think everyone else had sort of a personal stake in that whole reveal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, he was already dead in my universe, so I was just like, oh.
Wow.
Oh no.
I mean, and I guess
just another body on the floor.
I get that he pulled the whole and 157 different alternate possibilities, only one of which I see a possible outcome of success.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Strange bullshit, but
yeah, you tell that to a bunch of people who've been scarred for 10 years because they tried to help their best friend and couldn't. And it just,
Not good.
Not good. No, not good at all. Oh, what else happened in the Dungeon Dimension that was noteworthy? Besides the end, besides the ending, I'm getting there, Calvin.
I don't know. We forgot to mention what's her name, Gianna, that one random witch lady who had the mask, and Bowman was rude too. I don't know if everyone else was rude to her.
Which lady?
G something.
down by the river.
Gianna.
Oh, the one. Okay, so back.
I just feel like she's gonna come back. I'm just putting that out there.
Back when we were up top dealing with all of the random thefts of artifacts that Eldritch had basically imbued with his power to keep dimensions from crossing over. Yeah, doing what they're doing now. It was a couple of you guys went to help the magician who basically had the cord that lets you breathe underwater for 7 minutes, and she was stuck on she was stuck out at like it was a bridge, right?
It was like she got stuck in the water. She lived on like a houseboat or something. She was talking to Warden, trying to get like her hands on the mask or something, and Warden just laughed at her. And then she did get attacked. Her thing got stolen, and she was like stranded in water for a bit.
Oh my gosh, Bowman was so mean to her. Bowman was so mean to her.
I'm just mentioning it because I think it'll be funny if she comes back.
I could see her coming back for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, she had the belt. Yeah.
Yep.
Bowman made a future really bad enemy.
And not
I feel like she's gonna grow and she's just gonna become worse, and then all of a sudden, bye.
That might be a post Netherwar thing.
Netherwar season 2.
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
Another ring.
Electric Boogaloo.
Oh God! For the whole year, that's the end of season 2.
Yes. Yes, I'm here for it.
Oh man. So I remember dealing with a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Bress was there.
Yeah.
Dracula was there, but I don't remember if that was before or after the vault.
Dracula went. Oh, Centuria? Nope.
Yeah.
He noped.
Talk about a flashback to a flashpoint. Holy crap.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm done.
Oops.
He noped.
Bress was before we got to the vault, if I remember correctly, because when we got to the vault to deal with Toy Boy, dealt with Toy Boy, and then were betrayed by none other than Sophie, who had basically stolen Warden's mask and costume and taken over the Dungeon Dimension just so that she could basically have Eldritch kill himself, which go watch that episode on our YouTube channel, because Steve gives a wonderful performance of Adrian Eldritch sacrificing himself for the Freedom League Dark without knowing enough because Alex didn't tell him everything before the stream started.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Wow.
No,
They
no
still did
prep
so
for our
good.
guest stars.
No prep for our guest stars.
Never.
I mean, he'd given him some, but he didn't tell. If I remember right, Alex said he hadn't
I
told.
forgot I told her about Sophie.
Yeah, he had forgotten to tell him about Sophie. And so all of that was Steve in the moment, role playing his character and just rolling with the punches and improvising as he went through.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
It was a wonderful performance.
Yeah.
Just
True.
I
But what
think-
I want to hear about is what Calvin's reaction was to figuring
Oh,
out that
God,
Sophie
yes.
was evil.
I believe my face was like, oh man.
Accurate.
accurate.
So yeah, I mean, like I had my list of here's some suspicious things that Sophie has done. Some things she said that I picked up on, or some weird things she was doing, and I was just writing them down, and I hadn't pieced together what they could possibly mean because I hadn't considered any of. Like honestly, Sophie's creation was just like we were coming back from space, and I needed someone for Bowman to talk to that like wasn't another superhero. Like I needed like a personal life for the guy. So it's like, okay, maybe he's doing this in the neighborhood, and he's got this person. I'll throw it out there. We'll see what happens, and it was going fairly well. I was really enjoying those moments. I just could not conceive that this is what it was building up to. And I don't know. I'm just thinking back to that little pair, those few sentences of text that's like, here's a name. I thought of a last name like a few hours later, and here's what she is and what skills she might have and what she's doing. And I didn't know I was like signing our own like death warrant or something.
Oh.
That's why you don't give Alex people you care about.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
seriously.
That's what he does, bro, every time.
Well, I did that more, so.
No.
It's true. It's true. Oh,
That's true.
so book 3 ended with Adrian's sacrifice. The Mask of Malador being released unto Earth Prime, which was going to cause all sorts of problems. And then we decided to kind of walk through the dungeon dimension to see if we couldn't find where Warden had been tucked away. And we get sucked into the idiot box.
Ugh.
My favorite
those-
part.
So for those of you that don't know, the idiot box is another one of Green Ronin's modules for Mutants and Masterminds. It's more of maybe like one shot, two shot. It's nothing like what Netherwar or City of Destiny or the Emerald Knights campaign is for our Tuesday night group. And Alex basically threw us into a bunch of different television shows as though we were under the control of the remote, which we, in some ways we were. And Alex, being the huge comic book and animated DC nerd that he is, first throws us into Batman the Animated Series, which was great because then we're all sitting there like, well, how do our characters look in Bruce Timm drawn style?
I have
Triangular.
no idea.
Triangular. I have no idea.
No idea
And
what
by
Mortis will look like.
By some bizarre twist, I actually figured out the riddle, which I suck at the riddle solving stuff.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm
Yeah,
just
you
like,
did.
like something happened and the tumblers all clicked. I'm like, wait, no, this, and this. And it was like, it was a Batman based, but like a meta Batman, like, Bob
Mhm.
Kane. And I'm like,
It was the name of a bunch of the writers.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. It was one of those. We were all sitting there like, oh, where does this fit? How does this fit? We were getting different things, but we didn't get that connecting piece to the names like Kevin did. When that hit, it was just like, okay, there we go. That's what the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, whatever the role playing game in the last 30 years, like I am not the puzzle solver. I made the mistake at Origins of one time in a Suicide Squad game that Alex was running of playing the Riddler. I'm like, no, this was a bad call. I can't solve riddles, much less create them. Like this was not a good idea.
Oh,
Oh my god.
But yeah, so-
I love the idiot box though.
the idiot box was a lot of fun because we just bounced around for a couple of weeks just doing things like that. Alex said it was a palate cleanser for the trauma that we had just endured, and then he throws us into a Bachelor American Ninja Warrior crossover with the Arctic Fox.
Well, that and the freaking. I'm afraid I did indulge in being a snooty British person a little too much.
Oh my God,
Holy
yes.
shit.
Yes, you did.
I totally shattered that up. Like that was bad.
That was the best.
I'm actually pursuing a plot. I'm just being ridiculous and chewing up the scenery.
Dude, Kevin and Calvin in the freaking Bridgerton. What was it called?
Contessa.
Contessa.
That was honestly probably like top 3 parts of this entire series. Like that was so funny.
Well, it's like several times I'm like, okay, we got to keep moving this plot forward, and then I would just get lost for a half hour in just trading barbs with Calvin in a really bad British accent.
I could have done a whole episode of just Contessa.
Honestly.
No, we really shouldn't have.
I don't know if we would have been able to get past Quark and him getting to the point where he got bored, but you know.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh my God.
I
So funny.
I don't know. My favorite bit was the Muppets.
The Muppet bit was great.
Oh
Yes.
God, the Muppets.
And the
Giant
art
sea.
I see.
I like the
Oh.
cop one.
Yes.
Oh wow, dirty cops from the '80s. Nah, that was a little bit.
So
That was a little
funny.
close to home. You know, I'm old
And
enough to
then-
remember the original
Ta-
Miami Vice. So that
Tampa Heat. Tampa Heat.
Yeah.
My character almost died, and freaking Overdrive was just like killing everybody.
I got to use a rocket launcher on a helicopter. How
Oh
often
my
does that
God.
come up?
God, that
I mean,
was
come on,
so
you got to
fun.
embrace that when it happens.
That was so fun.
Yeah, I really liked how we got to like hop into these very small characters just very briefly, but we got to like experience those personalities, just like really cycling through a bunch of different characters almost at once.
Yes.
I agree.
It was like in the Tampa Heat, like Calvin was like the by the book mouse. I'm like,
Rookie.
this is so wrong.
The fun thing with that whole thing with the idiot box is it really felt like I know we did it over multiple episodes and multiple weeks, but it really felt like one gigantic improv night
Yeah.
because of how quickly we would jump from one character to the other.
Or
It's like, oh,
like
and everything was so every character was so different from the previous one that we were playing. It's like you're just snap to this different character and having to play differently and not being able to be stuck in the headspace of the character you were prior to that, because if you were, that just threw everything off and you'd have to switch again. So we had to play to Quirk and not move his BS meter up.
I gotta say that I love playing the grandma on that one sitcom with the
Oh yes.
where I got to like slam the door in the neighbor's face constantly, and I was senile. That was really fun for me after playing really dark Centuria for months.
Oddly enough, that grandmother was not Southern, Cat.
No, I didn't make her Southern either, but I made Centurion Southern.
Yes, you did.
I don't know what's going on. Those were good. And then I had to convince Andy's character in the Star Trek one to not sleep with the alien. But then Andy's character yelled at me. Oh, no.
I just love that I logicked Alex out of the fight for that one. It's like, I'll give you one chance to surrender. We don't know the word for surrender. You just said it. Just the look on his face. Oh man, it's just like, oh, he's just like, well, crap.
All right,
I'm
get
just
back on the
glad-
ship.
I'm
Yep.
just glad he didn't model that episode's villain after the insect guy from Galaxy Quest. Like that guy's a terrifying villain.
Oh God, yes,
he is the most effective Star Trek villain ever.
yes, it's true.
Oh my
Oof.
God.
Well, I thought we were gonna have to commit my nephew. He's like 6 years old, and he was quoting when the insect guy is screaming about, "But there will be blood and pain such as you cannot imagine." I'm like, okay, lock this one up, because like, oh, he's quoting the movie. Okay, I guess we'll let him out.
You're like, this one's gotta go.
It's like,
Oh,
it's like, are we having? Do we need to see a specialist?
Oh no! From the time he could talk, he had this obscure pop culture knowledge that he would just drop on you. He was probably younger than that. My sister was correcting him for something, And it was shortly after he had seen the live action Grinch movie. But he just turns around and goes, "Pucker up, Whoville." I'm like, did he just tell you to kiss his ass? Is that what just happened? You know, he's 10 years old making obscure references to the movie Single White Female, which I'm like, what? How do you even know that movie? Like,
Wow.
what is he doing on the internet all day?
Oh my
Like,
god, that's funny.
Well, I mean, eventually our time did have to end in the idiot
Yeah.
box. Like Alex wanted us to basically have a bit of a palate cleanser so that we weren't going from like one really bad thing into another bad thing, because when we got back from that, we were in book 4, which meant there was only one more book to go, which, spoiler alert, we haven't even gotten to book 5 yet. And we were dealing with the Mask of Malador being loose in Earth Prime, the serpent chasing it down to, see it like, we're going to finally defeat Malador, that cursed Atlantean. We've never been able to defeat him prior to this. Yada yada yada. And I don't know. Book 4 was kind of quick. Wouldn't you guys think?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
And also the other ones, Alex has kind of padded them out. I don't know how much he padded out before. I don't think he did.
Yeah, no, I don't think he did, because I know that we still had a lot to get to for some of the personal arcs for some of our characters. But we had the whole thing with the tunnels and bringing the Cynthias down so they could wear hard hats and fix the tunnels so they wouldn't fall apart when the next major flood happened.
So you're gonna have the giant fight in the dark.
Yes, the giant fight in the dark.
That was awful.
Oh, you guys are just glad that Resonant has fire control and could light some of those torches back up.
Oh
Yeah.
And then from there,
Medea was there as well.
yes, Medea was there. Thus began the greatest bromance in Freedom League Dark history between Mortis and Medea.
Medea's the best. Just the bestest ever.
I don't know, Jonesy. What was that night that you took Medea to the bar like?
So Medea got loose at the end of the previous book, because I think she was trapped in the dungeon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So
because we fought her in the first. We fought her in the first arc when she invaded the Nerian Nexus.
So she gets loose, and we end up encountering her in the tunnels. I believe it's in the tunnels. It's the end of the tunnels, right?
No, she was behind the pedestal, the door that had to be nullified. The magic I had Resident had to nullify off the door so Centuria could open it.
Oh, so we didn't encounter her until after the tunnels. It was the next scene after the tunnels.
Yeah, it was after we fought in the dark, after we fought the serpents that were basically under Malador's control. If I remember right.
Yeah, we went in there, we
Yeah.
fought in the dark, we found her, and then we made our way out.
Yep.
Dealing with wet boots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So she had a bunch of stuff about the Atlantean sorcery that she could help us with to track down the mask. So it was either try to contain her. She doesn't like anyone else in the group.
Mm-mm.
She actively doesn't like most of the group. So it was, well, she can hang out with me because she doesn't like most guys, and but I wasn't going to hit on her, so it was a good option. So I ended up dragging her out. I told slipped Alex a message like, I'm taking her out clubbing. So we went and hit a bunch of the gay bars and stuff, and just had a good night. And she ends up crashing on my couch for a couple of days while we were waiting for the plot to track down and stuff. And yeah, so I don't know how that started, and it wasn't the plan, but yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Like here's where we ended up anyway.
So
and then let's see, we went to the mansion with the 70s ghost. Yep, who put Bowman in a dress.
Look,
Good times.
can I defend myself?
No.
'Cause-
I mean, yes, but no.
Look, I was just like, I don't know what this guy did here. Like Malador we were looking for. I don't know if he did something to these ghosts or these spirits. There's something up with them. And I guess maybe I could have worded that a bit better. But the ghost was not impressed.
No.
The ghost
definitely
was
not.
a ghost of a 1970s punker who was bored because he hasn't anyone to screw with in decades. So, and he wasn't going to screw with me because I could see him. So
I like to think he was the guy on the bus in Star Trek 4 that got neck pinched, and now he's angry as like the undead. He's mad at that stupid Vulcan. Put him out. Sorry. Crossing the
What did
streams
I
again.
do?
What did Bowman
You
do?
look very Vulcan like. You're stoic. Stoic.
Stoic.
The ears. Just hard to tell under the mask.
work with the man.
Mask makes the ears stick out more.
Well, given that he's a 1970s ghost, he may have very well tangled with a previous Bowman.
It's true.
True.
I hadn't even thought of that.
And now that I'm saying it out loud, I want that to be the case. I want him to be some low-level street thug that got beat up by the old Bowman in the 1970s. Because that would be cool.
Oh, now he's part of Bowman's regular rogues gallery. I like it.
God, I have so many enemies.
Yeah.
Well, since I get along with him, he's more of a friend to me.
Well, sure. I hope so.
So he's more of the annoyance than an actual full-on threat.
For now, at least.
And then we went down. That just that whole thing with that ghost. That was just hilarious. Then let's see. I'm literally book 4. Like I said, it felt really short because we dealt with the punk. We went down to the basement. We had that little confrontation with the serpents, and and Resonant was like, "You guys are nuts. You're not seeing reality for what it is." It's like, well, go deal with Malador for us. It's like, no, we'll go deal with Malador because we need to deal with Malador, not for your frickin' sake. And then we get in there. Malador's already contained. Bowman, Sophie shows up again.
Everyone's favorite ex.
Yeah.
Nah.
Everyone's
I did that powerful. Because at the time I was like, well, like I kind of need her for the whole thing I've got going on. Like I don't want to torpedo all the good that's been done in Southside just because of her. So I thought she was a thing we could contain at that point. I thought it was like she's just another bad guy. We can deal with her as we need to. We can figure out if we can take her powers, or something like that.
right.
I didn't know she was like put Malador in a box kind of powerful.
Yeah, really. Well, because I forgot a portion of book 4 because we had the whole interview way back at the beginning after we came back.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, we had that whole interview where Overdrive, as his alter ego, was interviewing both Calvin or Bowman and Sophie for all of their work at Southside, where Bowman was, Fletch Beaumont, not Bowman. And that's where I think we had the first.
It was like Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns. It was awful.
Oh, man.
Oh, crap. Do we have to start fighting now?
And then we had the serpents show up and look for the faster mage.
That's right. Oh, that's trademarks. I need a quarter.
Yes, I know. I'm allowed to use it. We're on stream.
That's true.
But we had all that happen prior to. That was prior to dealing with the mansion, but it was before.
It was after we got out of the tunnels, because
it
Medea
was
was
after
there
the
watching
tunnels.
too.
Yes. Yep. I was trying to remember where that was.
Yeah, because we were watching the interview, and me and Medea were watching interview, taking shots every time. Bowman looked nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We should have into a drinking game.
Which is when Mortis was very happy he's half ghost.
Yeah, and Sophie was going like the full Kanye West. Daedalus doesn't care about non-superpowered people.
Oh my gosh, legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She threw down on Superhero Society pretty hard in that episode.
That was tough.
And then she's
Someone
like, well,
with powers, so she's talking a lot of smack.
Yeah, and then we get to her when she's got Malador contained. And she's like, "Well, I want to work with you." It's like, doesn't really sound like it. It's like you say one thing, your actions say another.
Yeah. Making several bad impressions at that point.
But
And
of
then
course,
there was a blending. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, but of course, we couldn't end that book with just Malador being contained because no, this is where Safunador makes its grand appearance because this whole time, of course, Una has been manipulating Sophie and turns all of Sophie's machinations upon themselves to free herself from that cross-dimensional prison that she was stuck in after the Soul Vault went crazy all the way back in Book 0. And we have the rise of the three-headed creature that we've called Safunador because, well, it made more sense to blend all three names together. And technically, that's where Book 4 ended. And everything that we've done since then has been, well, a crossover with our City of Destiny friends and basically kind of dealing with some of our own personal stuff before we dive into Book 4 or Book 5 to finish stuff off. So, where did Eric? Okay, so Deduce 82 is acting. So where did Overdrive get powered down shortly? Where was it? Was it in Book 3 or was it during the Overdrive
No,
saga?
that was-
It was during the interview, like right after the interview.
Yeah, right after the
That's
interview,
right.
like
Yeah.
something the serpent sorcerers did. Like, one of them drained off half of my speed
Yes.
as part of their little plot.
Yeah, that was before Centuria could get them. They like drained half of his speed and then left. Like
Yeah.
moved.
Yeah, like in other words, like it almost seemed like that was their goal rather than the death or capture of anybody.
Yeah.
To rob some speed.
Well, it wasn't necessarily the speed. It was the magical connection to the wellspring, I think, was what they were looking for. They were trying to collect mystical energy to, fight Malador, although I think they were kind of being controlled by Malador at that point in time. So they were kind of felt more like they were collecting it for him to do what he wanted to do.
Sort of feed him. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where Overdrive's depowering sort of happened. You lost you gained more speed during the Overdrive saga just because you had accidentally stolen Johnny Rocket's speed.
Yes.
Oh.
So like the last episode, my speed is all back, but the other speedsters in the dimension of Earth Prime are still not.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
accidentally.
But so the ending of Book 4 was the blending of Una, Sophie, and Malador into Safunador. I believe if we're going off of if you're reading the module at home, I believe the entity is known as Triune. I think Alex has mentioned that a couple of times.
Yes.
Thanks.
We like Safunador. It fits with our style.
Our wackiness.
Yes, our wackiness.
Because in the module, obviously Sophie as a campaign insert from our side, it's actually supposed to be Medina, I think.
Is it Medea?
Yeah.
I think it's Medea that gets is the unwilling pawn
in the whole thing. That would make sense.
But instead she's my gal pal,
Right.
which I prefer.
Yeah.
Definitely better in that regards. So let's see here. So leading with that ending of the Book 4, we went back to Southside to deal with the Undead Uprising, which, oh boy,
Yep.
that was fun.
Hey Jason, nice knowing you.
You made it. What do you mean?
I'm Bolt. Isn't there already a superhero named Bolt?
So
Was
early
that the
in
fight with the magic?
the campaign, we decided Calvin needed a sidekick. Well, let me say, I decided Calvin needed a sidekick. Everyone else on board on it. So I decided he needed a Robin / Roy Harper, and so that's where Jason Harper comes from. It's Jason Todd and Roy Harper, the worst of both their personalities.
But with like a whole lot of smarts as well. I suggested Roy Todd. Everyone shot it down for some reason. I don't know why.
We had to go the other way. This made more sense.
But yeah, Jason, he finally got to put the suit on. I kind of I mean, like Alex said, he didn't do this on purpose, but I liked that it kind of tied back to what happened with Sophie, like the whole betrayed by a mentor thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure to bring that up. But apparently, I was the only person who picked up on that, which is fine.
I mean, it made more sense for it to be Bowman that picked up on that rather than everybody else, because it felt more genuine to the character.
Yeah. Like, I definitely had other ideas of how I wanted to play that out, but just with the way everything played out, and then, I don't know, just worked out for the best. And I like that he had the suit already when I went there to get it to give it to him. It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You're smarter than me, you dumb kid.
All your Hot Pockets were gone from your freezer.
No.
Wow. You know it's real then.
You know it's real.
Pockets.
But yeah, the Undead Uprising, I don't know. It kind of felt like it was a Sophie failsafe almost.
Yeah,
Sort of.
that's what Alex had mentioned. It was she left Booby Traps basically.
Yeah.
At least that's the impression I got based on some stuff he said, was that those were contingencies that she left behind.
Because they were at like project construction sites.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was one of our toughest fights. The Terminus one probably being the toughest out of everything that we've done so far.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't because it was such a difference in power level. It was because we were literally down to dealing with incorporeal entities, and there were only two of us that really had the ability to affect them.
Yeah, that was a tough fight for Century.
And the dice were not happy. Helping
Oh
us
God, no! The dice did not like us that night whatsoever.
Yeah, Century is getting whacked that night.
It was that was even worse than your fight with.
No, we're just gonna skip over that.
We're just
We
gonna
don't
skip
wanna
over that
talk about
fight.
Roll 20 really screwed me over on that fight, bro.
Oh,
That would
that
have
was
been even better if he was beating me up, but we were literally just stagnant the whole time.
yeah.
That
I
made me
just
mad.
it's like that. It almost reminded me of one of those things, like you just see these two hulking brutes, just like you see two people from like a wrestling, like a world WWE type of thing, and they just like walk into the ring and they're just glaring at each other and they're all sorts of mad. You just see the aggression on their face, and then they go, and then the bell rings and they just turn into a slap fight.
I was just so mad. That could have been such
Beavis
a cool
and
moment,
Butthead style.
and then it wasn't.
Yes.
Man. Okay.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the fight. That was the fight with Nurgle, which kind of came up after we dealt with the first ghost fight, just because, you know, when we dealt with the ghosts, Mortis chose to take the portal that was summoning more underworld undead to the material plane and take it back to the crossroads. So we had to,
which was a great plan, by the way.
oh yes, it was.
Very good plan.
And then the real world interfered.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, literally, I teleport down into the underworld with the sigil that's gonna burst open and unleash the hounds of hell, and lightning strikes a power transformer like a block and a half from my house.
Oh yeah.
Blowing it up. We're having one of the worst electrical storms I've ever seen, and we lose power, and I lose internet, I lose everything, and I'm like, crap.
I don't know what happened. I can't come back.
Well, I mean, Mortis was gone too.
And that became plot.
That became plot.
Yeah.
So thus began our little impromptu. I would imagine it was kind of an impromptu character split, because we had to deal with Mortis in the underworld and everything that that entailed. We also had to deal with the rest of the portals that Mortis couldn't deal with up on Earth Prime, which led us to the fight with Nurgle. It led us to the fight with Fenrir, which that was
wow. Let's not go there.
Alex.
That was pure evil now.
Yeah, so I was playing Gateway at that time. So right before all this stuff went south, we couldn't come back. My character is allies with Gatekeeper, who's from Atlas of Earth Prime, who's another mystic. So the following game when we jumped in, I'm playing Gatekeeper because Mortis is still trapped in the underworld.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just the fight with Fenrir. Overdrive goes like, I'm gonna go play nice with the puppy, and I'm gonna stay over there.
I'm trying to help the puppy.
And he gets mad when I tell Centurion to deal with the minions. It's like, I didn't tell you to stay over there.
Yeah.
Overdrive Shoe Toys are not available at Petco.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's the next
It's an
logical
action
step after
figure.
action figures, right? You go from action figure to chew toy.
Or action figures become chew toys.
Well, there's
Also
that.
that. Charon is in the record store
Yes.
Yeah.
leaking
I love
out
that
that
part.
water that makes you old.
River
Ah.
6. The River
Yeah.
6.
And then we had Overdrive the excavator.
Yes.
Drainage ditches to try and get the Styx water out of there.
This was Moist Skeleton Overdrive.
Oh yeah.
I'm still
Hey,
waiting for that to
If
come
your
back.
skeleton is not moist, you have serious health issues, all right? Your skeleton should be moist. It's
I'm
inside
still-
your body.
I'm still waiting for that to come back, and just we go back to Una's Netherworld, and that skeleton is like now the commander of her her undead
Yeah,
forces.
moist or not, that skeleton was terrifying. We're not dealing with that anymore.
the
That's
one
done. That
the one
episode is
ske-
over.
the one skeleton we couldn't down that entire freaking fight.
It's
kept-
ridiculous. Like it
Kept
just
making
would
it
not drop.
saves. Yes, it just kept making it saves every time.
Rolling 19s and 20s to hit us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that when like some random minor enemy just won't go down.
Yep.
It's my favorite thing.
And then when we finished dealing with the undead incursion on Earth Prime, for us, that meant that next we were going to hit the underworld and Mortis's adventures therein. Except we couldn't quite do that because we had to go take a quick detour over to Emerald City. So we kind of did these little plot cuts where we didn't get to see what happened in the underworld right away. We basically like jumped 2 episodes ahead to where Mortis had returned from the underworld and had dealt with everything down there. But we went out to Emerald City to cross over with our City of Destiny folks, which was a lot of fun.
Crazy.
It was a crazy little thing.
Another
Go ahead,
City
Kat.
of Destiny War.
Yeah, City of Destiny War.
Yeah.
Now
That was really fun.
One GM and what?
9
10
players.
9 players and 3 NPCs or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, geez, yes. I feel for Aaron. That could not have been an easy task.
It
Bowman.
comes in.
Yes.
Yeah, Bowman was briefly disarmed, and then he was just a man.
Man.
Like I knew that was gonna happen. Like I was playing someone with like magnetic powers. I mean, obviously, I'm surprised he hasn't disarmed me more in our campaign.
I-
I
you
really
know-
think
So
it's
you,
something.
again, things to not say out loud on a
No, I
recorded
mean,
stream. Like,
He'd already said
Mortis
it.
has a stable relationship, huh? Clickety, clickety. And off the finger go. Now you've called down the thunder. It's not good.
Oh, I mean the thing was Calvin did call that out at the end of that episode. He's like, I'm just surprised you hadn't done that already. So it's not like it's something new. Alex already knows about it.
He was
Technically,
busy
he
with the
got
wedding.
disarmed
He hasn't.
that time with the speedster arc too.
It's true.
Yeah, but there was more things that happened at that point, so it wasn't just disarmment.
Oh
It-
no.
it was-
that-
I didn't have to deal with a round of combat being disarmed.
Yes, and Resonant got to show off a new power that was not technically visions of hell. It is more just like it's the concentrated, well, it's the chaos of a whole bunch of elemental energy overloading the mind and shutting them down.
Yeah.
Because Resonant. So one of the things that's been hard for me as Resonant, maybe we'll segment into this a little bit more when we get back. We can talk characters a little bit more because we're almost caught up with all of our recap stuff for the storylines and stuff. One of the things that's been hard for me as Resonant has been the ability to take her powers and move them up. Like I had a very concrete set in mind of like, these are the powers that I want her to have. And I don't want to just be grabbing, gems as we pass by jewelry stores and whatnot, or something along those lines. I didn't want to just have her just continue to pick up things and become this jack of all trades character. I mean, literally, I could do that with the way that she's set up. I could literally have her take up any gem, access the elemental energy inside of it, and do pretty much everything that the team does. But if I do that, then I'm stepping on everybody's toes. You're stepping into, I step into the world of the Paragon, or I step into the world of the Speedster, or I step into the world of the Necromancer. And I just don't want to do that with Resonance. So it's like, where I have her is where is literally her end game, other than just getting more powerful in it. Unless I can figure out something else to do with her.
Yeah, but if you can do everything, that means the bad guys will target you first because you're the biggest threat. I mean, I'm okay with that.
But stones make me a good archer.
Probably not.
I would let's see here. Probably just a piece of quartz. Just use that as a force, and instead
I thought you were gonna say probably just a rock.
No, I mean, well, quartz is a rock.
Just go pick up a rock off the street.
I mean, anything that basically would give me the ability to get into telekinetics would allow me to become an archer, because I don't necessarily need a bow to be an archer.
Oof.
Wow, that feels like a low bow there.
You're the one making the puns.
I have the exact opposite philosophy. I want to do more things. I need a magic arrow. I need to hang out with Mortis so we can build that back.
Yes. So let's recap just a little bit more, and then I think we'll take a quick little break and then come back just to kind of wrap a couple of things up. Yeah, yes, Wiki, you're right. Archery does require some sort of bow, but it doesn't have to theoretically be a physical bow. I mean, yes, it does for us because we can't manipulate.
Ooh, you can have that cool Dungeons and Dragons cartoon energy bow.
It's true. Yeah.
I approve.
So after
nerd derailment then.
Yeah, really. So after our crossover with City of Destiny, which was a lot of fun, and yes, Resonant got to show off, and then got granddadded because she was thinking that she knew better than most everybody else, because, well, there hadn't been a point in time where there'd been any conflict with the things that she said up until that point. We went back and finished off Mortis's foray into the underworld, where he recruited some of Freedom League's deceased heroes? ?
Yeah.
Wow, that hurts.
Hero adjacent.
There's one questionable hero, and it was you.
What? Yeah, I know. It felt appropriate for what we were going for with that. It's like, I can make this character. Alex should have this character ready. Oh no, I can't find it, Andy. Well, crap. Now I have to go make it. But I mean, Jonesy, what was fun with that one for you?
I just thought the whole concept was really cool. Of Mortis basically ends up going and recruiting his A team of a bunch of previously deceased or future deceased heroes.
Timelines are wonky.
I really
continuity
that time.
And so I just thought it was kind of cool. And I love the fact that like Kevin got to grab a Golden Age character and we got to do something cool with that, right? And Centurion, of course, was really cool. But doing all that I just thought the whole thing was really cool, but especially the ending. I got choked up a little bit. I'll admit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I loved the ending of that one. I feel like Alex got out some of his own personal frustrations with that little storyline, especially the pseudo heaven. That felt like it hit home a little bit too much for him. Oh,
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
Mhm.
I really
But-
enjoyed playing Centurion in that game. That was like, because
You
he's
did such a-
almost like exactly the opposite of Centurion that I play. So it was just so fun.
you did such a good job with him.
Dude, I just played him as a dad, and he's not even he didn't even know he was a dad. But I just imagined that he had a dad personality.
He's
Yeah.
he's got that dad energy.
Yeah.
Instead of forever GM, he's forever dad.
Yeah, like he would definitely wear those white New Balance shoes and mow the grass.
They don't stay
Wow.
white for very long
Image.
if you do that.
Yeah, mowing the lawn and the white sneakers not a good combo.
Not a good combo, no.
No, that was fun. I enjoyed that. And then I enjoyed me and Centurion and Mortis's little moment at the end where he was like, tell my daughter I love her. And I was like,
Mhm.
Even though I was the one saying it, I was like,
Yeah, pressure was on after that to say something meaningful.
I know. And then I had to go back to Centurion. I was like, what?
And then all that shit with my freaking father-in-law. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah, it's like, oh hey, my future father-in-law, I brought him back to life. Oh yay.
My
Yay.
future father-in-law, the one reason I nearly got killed.
Yep. Wonderful. Wunderbar. And then dealing with that, we ended up going back to Emerald City once again because our heroes were still stuck there. And to recap our last week's episode, because it literally was last week, was the Arctic Fox showdown. Or it wasn't actually the Arctic Fox, it was his daughter.
Yeah. Went in there expecting to get my butt kicked, but instead maybe the opposite. I don't know.
Do we have another shipping for Bowman? Is that what we found?
Put it on the list.
Lady
I'm not
Bowman?
allowed to comment anymore. I ship Bowman with everybody, apparently.
Apparently.
The list right now is 7 crossed out, Sophie crossed out, Resonant with several question marks, and our new Arctic Fox.
I'm still here for Resonant, but nobody else agrees with me. So I guess I'll just leave it alone.
Well, it's either Lady Bowman or Arctic Archer.
Mhm.
Yeah. Arctic Archer was really good. I don't
I
that
like
one.
both of them.
Yeah.
Arctic Archer is good.
I may
It's
have
the
been,
alliteration.
I may have been putting stuff in chat while that was going on.
Don't date Bowman or you'll actually be evil.
Well, see, in this case, we already know she's evil. We already know she's evil, and I guess that's part of my. I guess that's maybe one of the reasons I wanted to ship him so hard, is because all the archers in DC have dated someone shady.
He's already dated somebody shady. So
Consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was Oliver and Shadow, Roy and Jade.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I assume archers have to date someone kind of shady.
What is it? Wait, isn't Roy's daughter is to Cheshire, right?
Jade is her real name.
Oh, okay.
Her first name.
Hey, we don't say that on stream. We don't reveal secret identities. I'm kidding.
All right. Well, I think that gets us caught up in terms of recapping where we were. So why don't we take a quick little break for us to get some water, hit the bathroom if we need to, and we can come back and take some more questions from the audience, maybe talk characters. I know some of us know some of the stuff that's going to be coming up here pretty soon.
I know nothing.
Kevin knows something,
I do
apparently.
not. Oh, I said I know nothing.
Yeah, I know, but you said it as Sergeant Schultz, and he always knows something.
Wow, you're a little young to get that reference, but I'm impressed.
TV Land was a constant on in my household
Oh,
growing
okay.
up.
Kevin, we're a little young to get that reference. Just saying.
Come on now. I mean, at what age, though, Jonesy, did we recognize that somebody made a comedy about a Nazi prison camp? Like, this is not really comedic material.
All right,
decided-
everybody.
Could
All
be
right.
why I didn't see it until I was in my late teens.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We will be back shortly, everyone.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
It's like
Did it work?
Picasso.
Kat, did you
Oh.
minimize your screen?
No.
We are not back. We are not back.
We are back. We're just
We are? I can't see us.
Oh my god.
No, you're
You
there.
don't want to anyway.
Hey.
All right. Well, let me just.
While you're working on that.
Yeah.
Yes, while Kat is working on our faces, welcome back. We are back from our quick little break. We have been talking our recap, basically, from the last time we did a talk back when Alex decided to ditch us.
I'm over here.
Evan's over here, and Kat's over here. So for those of you just tuning in, or for those of you watching this at home on YouTube once it's off of our Twitch channel, our last talkback took us through books 0, 1, and a portion of book 2 of Netherwar, along with a whole list of personal side quest type things for our characters. This talkback has gotten us through the remaining half of book 2 and books 3 and 4, along with a decent number of personal story arcs that have happened up during that time frame. We've even had a crossover with our friends over at City of Destiny, which is our Tuesday night Mutant Masterminds game that we've kind of pulled into our own into the universe at the same time as everything else. And we are now down to kind of what's going to come next for us in Netherwar. We know we are almost to book 5. Once we get done with some personal stuff, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, we will be heading to book 5 and we'll be wrapping up Netherwar. We figure probably sometime in February of 2022, kind of put it around the 1-year anniversary of when we started this thing. Can you guys imagine we've been doing this for almost 52 weeks? It's
No.
been a long
insane.
campaign. It's been a long campaign.
DC would be proud.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
seriously.
Take that, Doomsday Clock. Ha ha.
Ah.
But
Oh, we got to follow as well.
I did. I saw that. Thank you for the
There we go.
follow,
Thanks
Draken.
for the follow.
Draken Logia.
Mm.
We appreciate the support. So, what's coming next on Netherwar? We kind of left off at the end of our last episode with a couple of plot threads that are hanging out that we're about ready to tug on. We had Agent Emerald from Lafandi back in book 2 showed up when we were dealing with everything in Subterra. Resonant ran into one of her old schoolmates from Lafandi before she'd been pulled through the dimensional rift between Earth Prime and Lafandi. Agent Emerald came to basically say, your uncle's completely nuts and I don't want to follow him anymore. You need to come back home and stop him. She's also a little mean because she said that, she would try to kill me when all this was done and over with, and Centuria got a little protective.
I was going to
Yeah.
pick him up.
You were gonna kick her butt.
Do it.
I wish I could have.
I know. We have that. That is definitely the upcoming. That is our next arc that we'll be hitting, unless we deal with one of the other 2 plot threads that is outstanding, which is Nick, Mortis's fiance, is missing, and there was signs of a struggle, if I remember correctly, right, Jonesy?
Yes.
Yes. This makes Mortis a very unhappy camper.
I'm about to go Dark Phoenix in someone's ass. Just saying.
Well deserved. Yeah, so Nick is missing, and I don't know what direction we're gonna go in.
Well, and we've got the Bowman issue too, right? Jason's.
Well, we haven't confirmed that yet because Alex said it, but it was kind of like jokingly. So I don't know if Jason is actually missing, or that was just a funny joke.
These things and more we'll learn next week when Alex comes back to, tie all these plot threads together.
Right.
But I think we were kind of talking before we came back on stream. Jonesy, you had something specific you were thinking in relation to Nick's disappearance.
Well, yeah. So right before all this went south, when we were in the underworld, I ran into my future father-in-law / Nick's father. And so I don't know if he's responsible for this or if it has to do with Safunador or something else entirely, but I don't. Yeah, so I'm just like, as a player, I'm like, I need to go help Andy with his plot line, but my ghostly boyfriend is missing.
It's like we've got plot to go through, and Alex throws this wrench at us. It's like, so.
I mean, I'm prepared to split the party.
Oh
No.
yeah.
No.
This is yeah. I was gonna say we were talking about this too because we already had the whole Centuria going. No, I already know how this happens. When you all split up, you all die, and I'm not letting that happen again.
We'll have a mental breakdown if we all split.
Let's split up. That way they can't get us to bed.
Yeah.
Splitting up is what caused you all to get hit bad.
I'll be right back.
I mean, technically, in her timeline, Resident at least didn't die until after she came back from LaFondy.
So at least I'm safe for the next couple of episodes.
Sure.
Oh, and there's always the possibility that Nick was kidnapped by robotic dinosaurs from year 2062.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know what I've done to the timeline with that whole thing.
You've broken it.
Yeah.
Robo Dino Apocalypse.
Do you guys know the webcomic where the artist draws the dog that's like he was a veteran of the war, so he's kind of like all scarred up, and he plays the host
and he
to
has
the kitten.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that artist did a set of comics relating to that scene from Jurassic Park, the original, where the one zoologist is hunting the raptors, and the raptor comes at him from the side, and he calls her Clever Girl. He has this whole comic series where the two continue to like one up each other as they go through. So you get the initial Clever Girl thing, and then there's the next one where like she jumps, the raptor jumps on him, and she goes to like claw his face, and the face falls off, and there's a bomb behind it. So it's like it was a golem or robot, yeah. and she goes Clever Boy, and so it just continues down that line. And it's just imagining what I'm seeing. It's what I'm imagining is happening with Jason's timeline.
Yeah, he has one dinosaur rival that he's just going at it with. I mean, no, I just borrowed some plot points from like a one of the Astonishing Adventures. Sorry?
That's from a Rips game?
No. It was from one of the Astonishing Adventures, and I just thought I had a cool bad guy. So I was like, okay, well, what if this happened, but he won? And also, he had some kaiju with him. Because I was thinking like I was just do like an alternate universe kind of thing. So I thought that was an option. Everyone was doing like past heroes.
It might very well be. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like these are all really good questions, and if you want to see more of it, let us know so we can poke Alex and we can have more content for you, for everyone that's watching
I
at
would
some
love
point
to
down the
play the Centuria of that universe. I think
Savage Centuria.
That would be so fun.
Wow.
I would live for that.
Next season on Jurassic War.
Ooh, I
so
like that.
Oh boy.
But yeah, we are. So we've got a couple of different plot points that are just kind of dangling. I know LaFonde is the next one that Alex wants to get to. That's the main one. We haven't hit on any of Resonance kind of backstory and stuff of that nature. We will have, as long as we get to LaFonde next week, which I'm pretty sure that we're going to, there will be a blog post going up on our website on Thursday for basically a history of, a history of LaFonde, something I put together over the last couple of weeks, both to give Alex a little bit more information to use so that I feel the world is as represented as I came up with in my head, and to kind of round out Resonance backstory. We'll definitely have to deal with Nick's fallout, the whatever's happening there. And I think once we do that and find out what's up with Jason, we'll be ready to start book 5, which will finally see us dealing or dying to Safunador,
Yeah.
tied up in a neat little bow.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a universe with an alligator Loki, then there's definitely a dinosaur Jason. Just so long as he's not one of the ones from Super Mario Brothers, the movie, I think we're okay.
I kind of want that more now. Did we talk about Lady Bowman and her transforming arms?
We briefly covered it, but what else do you want to say?
I don't know. So one day, having not learned my lesson, I sent Alex a couple ideas about some like other sidekicks. I don't know what to do with them. Certainly wasn't anything like what happened was not at all what I had mentioned. So I'm sure he's going in a completely different direction with it, which will, I'm sure, turn out fine for all of us. And not explode in our faces again.
You know what's funny about that? Because Bowman or Calvin, you mentioned that, and when we dealt with the Arctic Archer last week and the whole transforming arm, and then PETA and I went to go see the My Hero Academia movie on Tuesday night, which was really good. And I just posted a link to one of the villains from that movie who could manifest a bow from her arm and shoot arrows. So I'm watching the movie and going, it's Lady Bowman. It's Arctic Archer. I was like, I have to show this to Calvin. And I just thought about it, so I just shared the link to him.
Wish I had that power.
I know.
I don't know how to deal with being disarmed.
That's true. But I think we almost kind of stepped in a couple of plot points that could be used for City of Destiny last week, which is kind of why Alex maybe sort of tiptoed around a few things other than just us dealing specifically with the bad guy for that villain, for that arc.
We did have the villain launch a rocket launcher into the penthouse of a skyscraper in the campaign setting. So yeah,
it's true. Yeah, they're sorry, Octo Squad. Oh wait, no, that's not the official name.
No,
that's the name they gave Freedom League Dark, though. So that's the only thing we're gonna call them until we know differently.
I was certainly planning to bring it back up later. Yes,
that was the name that the tabloids call them.
Oh yes.
It is the Stormbreakers with a hyphen, of course.
Yes. That's a good question. What do you think Freedom League Dark's tabloid name is in Freedom City?
Trouble.
I mean, yes. That team that Centuria and Bowman founded.
Drama Squad.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought of that. What's the public impression of Freedom League Dark?
Probably not great.
I don't know. For everything that's been happening, Daedalus has been off-world. Some of the Freedom League is depowered or off-world with Daedalus. It honestly, the only superheroes that have been truly active in Freedom City have been Freedom League Dark. I mean, we've been dealing with a lot of the mystical stuff and a lot less of like the mundane day-to-day things, but
We're the only ones doing work out here.
the only ones doing work out here.
Well, I said that because most of the stuff that we've encountered has not been
In the public eye.
in the public eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've gone into like the evil temple in the Antarctic and Terra, and we've gone to the tunnels south of Freedom City. You know, so we haven't really.
Yeah, we did. We dealt with the Factor 4 in the museum, sort of.
Yeah, but not very well.
Well,
at least I didn't do very well.
Yeah. I mean, we dealt with Southside and that whole little uprising. We dealt with the transforming cars on the highways around Freedom City. We dealt with the River Styx, you know, in Southside again. So I think actually we may have done more in Southside than we've done in actual Freedom City.
I have suspect the Talkback somewhere are blaming me for most of those to begin with.
Oh, probably.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if like the news would even make a distinction with like the brief moments of activity, of public activity at least, that we have.
It's true. And like we haven't really had a whole lot of interaction with the press, except for Overdrive, since he's a member of the press. but that's a whole different sort of interaction.
And most of the press has either been around Bowman or Centuria, who both are established as members of the actual core Freedom League.
But I think if I remember right, Sophie did mention Freedom League Dark in the interview with Kevin and
there's no
Calvin.
such thing as bad press. Oh.
As the one hero on this team with the
but they're talking about us.
Former criminal record, I would disagree with that statement.
So yeah, that's a good question. I do like the so we had team relationship goals, the Emo Disaster League, and Fallout Boys as other names for Freedom League Dark that popped up in chat. So thank you all for that. That's hilarious. All right, so Kevin, we've talked a little bit about what's happened to Overdrive up to this point. Do you have an end goal in sight for what you would?
I was gonna let Kat play the character and destroy everything. No, I was kidding. Oh.
I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say this with the caveat that we would be bringing these characters back for something at a later point in time. So let's not, you know, because I mean, I would think that none of us would say, "Oh no, my character's going to die in this upcoming arc or in this upcoming book," type of thing, just because.
Oh, there it is! Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
you have your Davy back.
Yeah, you're gonna get your Davy back.
Yeah, with DNA stolen from me to make your body. It's terrible. Why am I totally talking like Bowman? Another ex-wife. Hey, I technically am not married to Tracy, so I have no ex-wives currently. So anyway, I don't know. I try not to have like I like to let a campaign play out to its natural end. So like I honestly don't know where things are going in the bizarre Tracy Centuria love triangle. Like I don't know. I guess I kind of want to see how that plays out to sort of riff off of what's going on. I mean, there's been hints that there's only going to be one master mage of this, you know, reality. So does that mean, you know, the wellspring of velocity takes me elsewhere? Does it mean I lose my powers? Does it mean I die? I don't know. I kind of, you know, like this you youngsters, and you always have to look stuff like. I'm of a generation where I'm okay not knowing that, like, getting there is half the fun for me. So, like, you know, I don't necessarily, I have ideas, but nothing set in concrete. I want to sort of just play it out and see where it goes.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think that we'd always want to say like, no, this is where my character has to end. It's just like,
Well, that would just mean Alex would definitely change it on that.
yeah. I mean, there is that. That's true. It's just along the lines of like, what would be what would be a good outcome for you?
See, that's the thing. I'm kind of getting a vibe that it's gonna be a tragic end of some kind, or like, the looming plot thread with my supervillain father, the really messed up relationships Overdrive has going on, the connections to the wellspring, which Overdrive really doesn't understand. Like there's a lot of stuff in play. There's a lot of shadows looming, so I mean, I don't know, maybe it's the vibe of Netherwar. I don't typically tend to play speedsters as sort of the brooding type character, but I definitely feel like this is sort of playing out with some shadows looming. So yeah, that's a good question. But I'm thinking about all that stuff and just trying to riff off of everybody else and play up by ear.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
Overdrive was certain. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Calvin.
No, I was just gonna say Overdrive was pretty broody for a while. I don't know if we really got to tackle that.
Well, no, yeah, that's the thing. That's sort of been a subplot that I've been, not trying to cram down everybody's throat, but like every now and then just sort of showing that hint that, he's a troubled speedster.
Not everything is okay. I think Resonant's finally picking up on that again. I don't know exactly what I had.
Well, we're keeping Resonant busy with
Yeah,
you certainly are.
Psychoses.
Jeez, yeah.
It's what we do.
I don't know if it was helpful to be like, we totally trust you to handle everything, Resonant.
It's like, yeah, we totally trust you. All right, I'm still delegating to you guys now. Jeez, you guys are still getting me.
Because there wasn't room for everybody. Like we couldn't fit both parties in their entirety together for the crossover with City of Destiny. Like when different moments like that present themselves, like I always just try to explain that, just throw some character drama in there to explain it. Well, yeah, I'm not going to go to Emerald City because I've got stuff going on. Just
my powers are acting wonky.
Or just like, when Jonesy had the lightning strike and then that became a part of the story. Like to me, that just feels more organic in terms of keeping the campaign moving. So
yeah, definitely. All right. Jonesy, same question.
Well, not necessarily this season, but if we bring our characters back, I do want to explore. So we found out during the course of this campaign, Mortis learned about / Jonesy created the Crossroads and that whole concept of the Crossroads and the pit stop between here and the Underworld, and the fact that he's the guardian of the Crossroads. And I would like to explore more about that. And because there's one of the things I talked about Alex about is that there have been previous guardians of the Crossroads before Mortis. So learning more about who did that role and how and when and stuff would be kind of cool if we did a season 2. And also then the wedding issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't get to tackle that before the end of the season type of thing.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think we'll have time. I don't suspect that we'll end up having the wedding this season, but
would be a good opener.
That'd be so fun.
I just imagining that wedding being like the wedding between Calhoun and Fix-It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph, where everyone is watching the stained glass above where they're getting married, just so nothing bad comes in.
Well, and the reason I was thinking that would be kind of cool, not necessarily to try to squeeze it in this season, is just that there's a lot of stuff that could be a lot of fun that can be done with it, leading up to the wedding, the whole that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I like it. Kat.
That's like a really loaded question.
I know.
Like, there's just so much going on with my character. Like, because when you think about it, like, I've just said like 800 times, but she obviously is married to the soul that's in her doll. And she got married to him forever ago, then spent 10 years without him, but is still in love with him. But then I feel like her and this world's Overdrive have sort of had like a connection type thing, and they've had some moments. So that's weird. But then you also have to think, is she even going to end up in this dimension? Because this isn't her dimension. And there's this dimension, Centuria, is somewhere out there. And eventually, like, we have to bring her back. Like, we can't just leave her. Like, that's that's bad.
It's rude.
Where's she?
25 cents.
So, like, that's going on. And then me and Alex have talked about a couple things that I can't talk about in detail because spoilers. But, like, I honestly don't know how it's going to end. It could go 1,000 different ways. And then it also depends, like, is Davy gonna get a clone of Overdrive? Like, there's so many different things that could happen, and honestly, she could end up just dying in the end anyway. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to go on. I'm real scared about it, though.
Real scared about it.
Centurias.
Well, that would be interesting.
That would be weird.
That would be. Calvin, hand it off to you.
Like, what am I like anticipating or expecting for?
Yeah, like what would you like to see if your character is going to make it beyond the end of this one and would be coming back for like a second season of, not specifically Netherwar, but let's say Freedom League Dark moving forward.
Definitely want to explore his connections with people, especially like maybe this new person, but also like what may happen with Seven if she comes back, whatever might be left of Sophie, and like what I most care about is his sidekick. Like, I really want to see, because when I'm thinking about like Bowman and stuff, like Fletch the third rather, is the fourth Bowman, but he's been like the first one since the first that didn't come off being a sidekick. Like 2 and 3 were sidekicks previously. And I just really like this idea that now he has this kid that he's watching out for. And he never went through that, so he doesn't know how to deal with, like, his whole childhood was learning how to shoot a bow better. So now he's got this kid and he's like trying to push, and he's like, oh wait, you're tired from helping people all day from that water that makes you old. Okay, fine, go take a nap, whatever. I really want to see where that goes, because he can't process what Jason's life is like, because he hasn't lived that, and he also hasn't been a sidekick. But now he has a sidekick, and
what does that do for Bowman going forward?
Exactly. Like, how does it change him as a person? Is he still going to do the growly voice? I don't know.
Is he going to grow out a goatee?
This is going to be when he gets to his Silver Age part, where he starts to get lighters, and then he'll start to get darker again.
Yeah. So for Resident, it's going to be kind of weird for her, because I'm imagining at some point she'll be able to traverse the dimensional rift between Earth Prime and LaFonde. But it depends on whether or not that's going to stay something that she's able to do going forward. So like, she can she live in both worlds to some degree? Because like, can she go back, be the master, if she is truly the master mage of the dimension of LaFonde, which I think we've established that is probably true. Can she really afford to be here on Earth Prime and not on LaFonde? Half her life, the most formative years of her life, have been here on Earth Prime. All of her friends are here. She does, she has family and she knows some people, but she's been away from them for at this point, let's see, 13 years. So half her life's been here on Earth Prime. And I just don't know how Resonant would deal with that, having to leave Earth Prime if she couldn't come back, or if she could only come and visit. I think that would be a struggle that I wouldn't mind seeing, like, kind of brought to the forefront for them, because I really enjoy playing Resonant. I'm having so much fun with this character. I wouldn't want to give her up, but I could see the whole, I have responsibilities to this dimension. I can't just come and help out with everything. And I could see how that would just like eat her alive, depending on how bad the situation is on Earth Prime if things really were to go out of control, if there was like a robo dino apocalypse that she had to come help stop. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see for her, and just kind of I think I want to see some sort of reconciliation with that, being able to say that yes, she is a child of both worlds, and yes, she has responsibilities to both, and I'd like for her to be able to deal with both of them, and not have to choose between the two, because I think that would break her, to have to choose between her home and what it would do if she weren't the master mage there and her friends here. Heavy stuff.
Very heavy stuff.
So next question is going to come from chat, and the Deuce 82 asks, if the story wraps up and the team reaches some sort of closure, how keen would the members be to show up as mentors in the next campaign, or antagonists in Overdrive's case?
You know, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, is Andy going to read the whole question, or is he?
Yes.
Of course.
You know.
Let's start opposite order. Calvin.
Man, I've set myself up kind of perfectly for that, to be honest.
Mhm.
If I started playing Jason as a main character,
Yeah.
definitely could see myself being Jason or some other aspiring archer or ranged combatant seeking out Bowman as some sort of mentor, which would probably be a bad idea. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I could do. I don't know if I would want to yet. I think I want to, like, at this point, I want to like play as Bowman and develop that Bowman-Jason partnership, that team up, before, like, if I were to like permanently take over Jason in some case, I'd want there to be more built up there before I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Todd. Yeah, I could play Roy Todd. I don't know what's wrong with that name.
Nothing. We just
Yeah.
like Jason Harper.
Definitely, I could see Bowman doing that. So yeah, I can see myself doing that.
All right. So, Kat, I know we kind of talked a little bit about yours, but because you're not sure with which Centuria is going to be here in this dimension. So, I don't know. How's that question fit for you?
I could, if it ends well and my Centuria is still here, I could definitely see me coming back to mentor, but like, I would have such a hard time with that because I really, really love playing her, and it would just be so hard for me to like come in for like one episode of the game or something and then have to like just quit and not play her again for a while, you know? Like, it's gonna be so hard for me to stop this game because I've gotten so attached to Centuria. So like, that's gonna be hard, and it's gonna be hard for me to watch like other Centurias because you're not my Centuria. So I could definitely see it happening, but like you said, we have absolutely no idea how Centuria is gonna end. So who knows?
All right, Jonesy.
Yeah, I love playing Mortis. That was the reason I originally asked and begged, hey, when Alex was like, hey, we're gonna run this thing, I'm like, can I play Mortis? I'm like, literally, that's the first thing I said. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see him becoming the mentor type. I can see him taking in a pack of rough around the edges, you know, Breakfast Club-esque super teens and trying to play, you know, mentor to them. I think it'd be interesting. I could also see him possibly going the way of antagonist. He's done it before, especially if things go horribly wrong with Nick. But I would hope he after all the stuff from Netherwar, that he wouldn't slip back into his old ways. So
Don't want to fall back into the Red Hood persona,
Kevin?
basically.
Nope.
Yeah, Kevin.
What
You're up.
about you, Kev?
Okay, well, I mean, assuming that Overdrive survives, I kind of see like part of what feels like a natural development going on in Netherwar is Dave's got some growing up to do. Like when we did the Heroes Inc. stream ran for 24 episodes, something like that. I mean, so that ran for a good long while. And you know, in that first iteration of Spooky and Speedy, like, you know, Dave was just the happy-go-lucky, quippy speedster type. Like, there's a darker tone to this story, even from the beginning. Like, you know, first meeting the team, and there's sort of that overshadowing of, you know, the loss of Seven, and then we sort of jump forward. So, like, I think one of the things that's going on with Overdrive is he's fighting hard against growing up, and that's part of his, you know, romantic problems too. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, well, yeah, me and Tracy have this thing going, but you know, there's Kate, and so he's struggling to grow. He's been the goofball, he's been irresponsible. You know, his dad's situation is weighing on him, so I could definitely see him being a mentor in a second season of something else. Just I guess that between season development, you know, sort of where this is going is Dave has got to grow up, and so part of that is you know, then passing on to the next generation. I do enjoy playing Overdrive. That's, I mean, I certainly would not be against, you know, continuing the character in a different story arc, but I feel like about all my characters. I get very attached to my characters. um, yeah.
Yeah. I would say to answer the question for Resonant, kind of feels like she already has to some degree. But I could definitely see her coming back as a mentor. I think she would need some time, obviously depending on how things pan out for her with everything, LaFondy and Earth Prime. I could see her coming back and being a liaison, being a bridge, being a mentor. But I think she would need time to kind of step away from that kind of role for a little bit. Maybe just be able to hang out with her friends and not have to have to feel like she has to be the responsible one, not to feel like she has to be the one giving orders. Just the ability to just be amongst her friends and to be with them and not feel like she's apart from them, even though she's with them. Because I feel like that's part of what's happened with Resonant a little bit throughout this whole thing, is that she was very attached to Seven and to some degree Mortis back when they were kids, because that was what she knew. And then Overdrive was brought in, and that changed the dynamic a little bit, especially after Seven went, and she kind of started to distance herself. And when she went and said, you know, I can't do this anymore, she put that space between everybody because she couldn't deal with her emotions. And since she's come back, since she's retaken on her superhero mantle, I feel like even though she's been a part of the team, she's still been kind of that stepped back. She's trying to do that protecting. She's trying to be the team Donna Troy, as it's been mentioned multiple times. But I think that puts her at a distance from everybody else, because she doesn't feel like she can let loose. Like, she can't really relax to the same degree that, you know, just friends when they're just hanging out could. She always maybe feels like she's a little on edge because she's always watching for something. So I think she would need time before she could come back and just like take on the next generation. But I definitely could see her being some sort of teacher or some sort of mentor to another group of up and coming Magic users, especially if there's some sort of exchange between LaFondy and Earth Prime, just in terms of, hey, this is how magic works here, and this is how magic works here, type of thing.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. So, all right. Next question that I have for everybody is, if we were to do a season 2 of Justice League Dark, or Freedom League Dark, gosh,
Dark.
I know.
Boom.
Oh, no, Freedom League
He's
Dark.
gonna sue somebody.
If we were to do another season,
Trademark infringement, Dark.
Yep. Freedom League Dark, what kind of atmosphere or what kind of elements of story would you want to see us kind of tackle? Would you like to see us tackle the multiverse more? Would you like to see us deal with the time stream issues that may or may not have occurred. I know these are all things that we've touched on, but they haven't been they haven't been front and center. So like, what's something along those lines, like, if we're dealing more with the multiverse, we're dealing more with time stream shenanigans or anything like that, or hey, we're going into space and we're dealing with something there with these characters or the mentees of these characters. So like something along those lines. What would you be looking for, Kevin?
Well, I mean, to go all comic book historian nerd, the feel of Netherwar is fairly Iron Age-ish. So I would kind of like to see, if we're going to go with big stories and, threats to the multiverse, I would kind of like to see a little Platinum Age sort of even though it's big and there's a lot at stake, that it's not just overwhelmingly gloomy. You know what I mean? Just sort of a more like that at some point, we've gone through the crucible, and there's, even if there's, shadows here and there, like there's less. I would like there to be like less gloom. Sort of like the that last 4 or 5 years before Flashpoint and DC went to crap, like that level of just sort of, these are the world's greatest heroes, and yeah, there's villains out there, but this is a crew that's been around the multiverse. They know what they're doing, and they're gonna just mesh and click, and stuff is gonna get done. Sort of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
gotcha.
that pre Flashpoint vibe, DC Comics from like 2005 to 2010, like that sort of Iron Age realism with Silver Age optimism kind of thing.
Yeah, hopeful is what's been mentioned in chat. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I would agree. I would agree. There's been a lot of darker elements within Netherwar. I mean, because it literally is a war.
Yeah.
I mean, so it makes sense. So, kind of what you're thinking of, if I can put it into smaller words, maybe like that. There's that light at the end of the tunnel type of thing.
Yeah.
We can actually see the light. It's not like so dim or so distant that we don't think we can get there.
Season 2, shiny happy people holding hands. Okay, that's too far.
That's too far. All right, Kat, because I'm bouncing around now.
I agree with Kevin. I would like to see a lot of like more positive things happening to us, because we've sort of been through it. And it really depends on what happens like at the end of this season. Like if we haven't found Centuria yet, which that hasn't even been really mentioned, then I would like to find her and rescue her, and figure out what's going on with my dimension, if anything can be done, or if that's just like a dead dimension now. Like, just some like maybe deeper exploration into like personal character things, and definitely happier stories would be nice to start our Mondays with. I guess end our Mondays, but but yeah, so happier things, more personal things, and just like some stuff that I feel like has sort of been brushed over, I would like to see come back if we do a season 2.
Anything specific that's been brushed over that you can think of?
Just like the Centuria thing, and then I don't know if we're ever gonna get to finding Thunderbolt a body, and just like a bunch of stuff like that it's just like I feel like nobody really thought about. Like, I would like to do some of that stuff, like side quest type shit.
It's like we've now saved the world. Let's go do all the side quests
like
we missed.
Did the whole. This was the main quest. This was the main quest. Now we can go and do, like the Thieves Guild and shit.
let's go play the DLC.
Yeah.
It's like we're playing Final Fantasy 13. We had to get through all of the story before we could do any of the side quests at the end.
Yeah, like you fought Alduin. Now you're doing, the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild and the Mages Guild and shit like that.
Calvin.
I don't know. Let's just get darker. Let's go grimmer. I
Just that you just want to do the voice again.
All of our characters will talk in this voice. That's
I
how
can't do the
going to
voice
be.
if things are good. What a bright, shiny day. It's not going to rain at all, not a cloud in the sky.
He hangs out with Mortis just so like it becomes creepy and spooky around him.
Perfect. I was thinking more of the elements of story that I might want to lean into. I really want to do more like multiversal stuff. I was kind of thinking about like the beginning of the Into the Idiot Box thing when we briefly went into the DC animated universe, and we were just there as ourselves in another superhero universe. Even though like it wasn't exactly that, I just really like that idea. So yeah, definitely doing with more stuff that's like, here's things that could be happening in a different timeline where we might not exist even, or just things went slightly differently in this universe. Like I really like that idea, that concept of a story. So I really want to lean into that kind of thing. As far as tone goes though, I mean, I guess I kind of mentioned, I think Jason will end up making Bowman a bit of a lighter character. Regardless of what happens within the end of this whole Netherwar situation, even if Seven doesn't come back, I think Bowman's gonna end up being a bit less grim when he has this 13-year-old shooting bolts next to him. I think that's gonna change him up a bit. So yeah.
Gotcha. Jonesy?
Fatably dark in the multiverse of chaos. No? Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah, let's do it.
This is kind of a two-pronged answer, and I'm going to cop out, but I would like, obviously I want to do personal storylines and stuff like that, but I'd love to see us travel the multiverse, see more alternate Earths, alternate histories, but also time travel. Because I'd like us to be able to dig into what was Freedom City like, more about like the Golden Age, the Silver Age, like the different heroes meeting the original Scarab, like that kind of like really digging into the lore of the setting and playing that up. Even if it's like this is an alternate universe where the lore pivoted, and this is the point where it pivoted, and so now the bad guys won, the Crime League destroyed the Freedom League or whatever. I just think it'd be really cool to kind of play with the history and lore.
Well, that's what I liked about our little mini diversion as Mortis's Legion of the Dead. Like, I really love the Freedom City setting, and like even from first edition, and I wasn't super keen on the first edition rules. It was still very D&D 3.0. There was some clunk to the mechanics that second edition and third edition really smoothed out. But even just reading the material, it is a great setting, and it was cool for me to get to go and play, like you said, one of the Golden Age characters, and just just explore more. I agree with you. I think to be able to explore more of the setting and the lore, whether we're doing some kind of weird quantum leap thing where like we're temporarily becoming the other characters in the setting, just kind of, or whatever. But it's a great setting to explore. We could definitely spend a lot of time bouncing around.
Totally not Freedom League Legends. I mean,
Legends. Yes.
That would be like a really great. That's like the campaign I would want to run. So like playing it would also be fun too.
That would be great. I would like that. I think for me, I think one thing that would be kind of really cool, because we've touched so much on different types of magic with the Wellspring of Velocity, with Resonance Gem magic, with Mortis's Necromancy, and the Soul Vault. I kind of wouldn't mind doing something like Legion of Superheroes, like kind of pushing us into the far future where now the technology almost emulates everything that we can do, and it's dealing with that kind of out of timeness, and also just the fact that like, well, hey, now we're not like, we have these powers, but it's so ordinary for most people nowadays, which is with the way technology allows them to do things. How do we set ourselves apart? How do we stand out in this world? How can we still do the stuff that we can do? So like throwing us into the far future where we don't know what's happened. We don't have a way to get back. We still have to deal with things, but it's to the point where just now we have so much more to deal with because we're so out of time and everything else is caught up to us. I think that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. The Deuce 82 asks the hard one. If at the end one of the team doesn't make it and you all have that choice to say who do you let go? And of course, no voting for yourself, no noble sacrifice.
That's such a hard question.
Who would be the most tragic?
That's hard.
All right. Well, I will let you guys choose who goes first with this one because I have an answer and I can't answer it because it's not necessarily I wouldn't be self-sacrificing Resonant, but I feel like as Calvin just said, who would be the most tragic? It would probably be Resonant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Well, and I think
it doesn't matter. Mortis will spend the next season going into the underworld to get them back.
This is true.
Just
Yes, I
saying.
know.
Like that would be the campaign. We would all.
Well, I agree with you, Andy, in terms of dynamic altering deaths, because again, Resonant is sort of the glue that keeps the team together, especially if your replacement character is a little more Phoenix-esque. Like, how will we gel? Oh, I'm not saying
Wait a minute.
how will we gel as a team without our Donna Troy? You know what I mean? Like, how would we even? We've kind of come to rely on Resonance smoothing out the rough spots, and so that would really throw the whole team kind of way off center if Resonant were the character that didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
I will throw this out there. If one of the key, and this is just me being the writer wanting to tie up the campaign with a bow, I'd say Centuria. And because then our Centuria would sacrifice herself to make sure what happened in her dimension doesn't happen in our dimension, and in turn, then we insert standard continuity Centuria back into our continuity. So the writer in me, that's the neat, pretty bow.
Right.
No, I definitely agree with that. That was the first thing that I thought before, I read the
No self-sacrifice
for yourself, because I was like, I'm the only one that doesn't belong here, like she's the only one that is from a different dimension, but
has a very Rachel Summers Days of Future Past vibe.
Yeah.
Technically not true because Resonant is not from Earth's prime dimension. So.
Yeah, but I feel like you belong here more than Centuria does. Like, there's literally another Centuria that was supposed to be here, and now she's here.
True. There is that, yes.
But I definitely would say not Bowman, not Overdrive.
Yeah, no, I think, as much as I don't want to say it, I think the team could function it would be pretty sad, but the team won't, collapse the way it would if it was Resonant, or it wouldn't, wrap up the story as well if it was Centuria.
Why the female characters gotta die?
I'm really glad that no one's throwing Mortis under the bus.
Ooh.
We don't even know if Mortis can truly die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what death
either.
means for Mortis.
I had thought about Mortis dying, but then I was like, well, Mortis is the only one that can bring anyone back. I was like, because then he could be a ghost with Nick, and then I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, if Mortis were the one that had to be sacrificed or had to do everything, I think that would definitely alter the dynamic of the team. It theoretically would give us that sense of, oh crap, we're not as, because Mortis has gone to the underworld twice to retrieve, well, once specifically to retrieve the souls of fallen Freedom Leaguers, and another time just because, well, he felt like he needed to pull a couple of people back from it. So it's we know he can do that. So it's probably not that thought in anyone's mind specifically, but there's that nugget of if I die, Mortis can bring me back. So if Mortis dies, then there's that, oh crap, everything's a lot more dangerous now.
Who's gonna bring Mortis back?
Right. There's that, we're all in trouble now because Mortis isn't around. But now, how would we go about getting Mortis back? Because he's our tie to that realm. We wouldn't be able to easily do what he does.
Mortis is a free door. Go into the soul vault and it implodes in itself.
No.
Whoops.
Whoops. Yes.
Yeah, no. I can definitely understand that. Overdrive and Bowman, though, if they went out, like, you know.
I would be
He'll be
sad
fine.
if Bowman went out, though, especially after like the Jason thing that he's developing.
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen to Jason in that
Tragic.
case. I've been thinking. I don't know, because it depends on how well the team knows Jason after everything wraps up.
Oh, Mortis would totally take him under his wing.
Yeah.
Mortis would, after the shit with the underworld,
Oh, true.
yeah,
Mhm.
Mortis would be like, you, come here. No robot dinosaurs for you.
It's like, you would probably have to explain that to Resonant, because she probably would feel the same way that she should take she would probably try to take Jason under her wing to kind of help him, but then realize that she doesn't know how to. But you would probably have to explain why you would be so adamant to her.
No
So
robot
adamant about
dinosaurs,
yes.
No robot arm.
No robot dinosaurs, no robot. And it's just like, what? What are you talking about?
Well,
The robot arm thing is what got me, because you realize Roy is my favorite character, and they did that to him in the comic. They chopped off one of Roy's arms,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Prometheus did
ah,
that, right? Prometheus did that, right?
yeah, and that god awful story arc.
No.
Yeah,
And like
But-
poor Kevin, this whole time we're like, no, but it wouldn't be Overdrive, but it's like, no, I mean Overdrive.
I mean, it could
If-
be,
He's
but it
not,
could
but
be.
he's really not essential to the team dynamic.
Centuria
No, he
would
is
lose
to some
her
degree.
Shit though.
Yep.
Centuria
Centuria would
That's gonna
go.
happen. That's gonna happen no
revert
matter
back to
what.
where she was when she first got here.
And,
Yeah.
and honestly, if it was Bowman, there would be repercussions and fallout. And there could be really cool Bowman sacrificing himself to bring Seven back, given their past history and all that. So nothing that says that would be bad. And just it would be could be done really, really well.
Mhm.
I don't
Man.
think we can let Overdrive sacrifice himself again though, because he already did it during the Speedster arc.
Well, that
Mhm.
wasn't really so much sacrifice as what does this button do? I mean, that's not the same.
Was
not the same thing as
But
Hey,
it felt
what
like
if I
but it-
use the wishing stone? Boop. Oh shit.
yeah, but the whole thing with the Overdrive arc and you going to do that kind of felt like a little bit of that Dave taking responsibility, Dave growing up a little bit, because he felt he had already, he needed to step up, he needed to do something. So there's that, and I could kind of see that being Dave's reasoning for being the one to go out, and basically like, this is the only thing I can think of to do. I'm giving of myself because this is my way of thanking everyone for putting up with me through all this time, for all the stuff that I've done. And it would never have been like anyone thought that you were putting anything on us or anything like that, but it could have been like guilt or something that Overdrive thought.
Yeah.
For
I
that kind of
honestly
thing.
see that as one of the possible outcomes, like merging with the Wellspring just to sort of put things right. Because like we still like, okay, my powers are back, but the other speedsters are still not able to access the speed at all.
That would be such like, I don't want Overdrive to do that, but that would be such a cool like cinematic scene. Like I wish that I could watch that like in a movie, because it'd be like, I could see it just being in like slow motion, and like him realizing that he needs to like sacrifice himself, and like him making eye contact with Centuria, and Centuria realizing what he's about to do, and just trying to like scream and fight and get over to him and stop him, and like Resonant like looking at him and like nodding, like that's all you can do,
man.
you know? Like that would be such a cool scene to watch.
I mean,
It's like,
to be fair, it is kind of a crisis level event, and well,
Mhm.
if a speedster's gonna go, it's during crisis level events. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
And you also like in comic books, you can accept the sort of semi-mythical eternal youth of the characters, but like in the cinematic universe, like I think what gave Endgame kind of its punch was like, Iron Man and Cap, like those actors are aging out, and so it made sense to retire those characters, and that had a lot of impact. Like, but sort of that separation, I guess, between the comic book world and extended like cinematic universe, like that. You know, I wasn't crying in the theater when Iron Man died, but at the same time, like I really like I felt that like, okay, this is a superhero movie. I'm getting a little too
It
emotional.
actually feels
But,
permanent.
yeah.
Ish.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Steve Rogers at the end is really old, passing on the shield. You're just like, an era has ended. Like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous but excited for whatever's gonna happen to us.
Let's just hope that none of us die.
Yeah. I mean, we can do
What?
we can do our best to
But-
make sure that that happens.
What if I just played 7 after Bowman sacrificed himself to get her back?
That would be an interesting twist.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
want it now.
But now Seven would have a scratchy voice too.
no.
What is wrong with her voice?
Why does she keep casting Arrow?
Yeah. No, we don't want to age out Chris Evans just yet, Wiki. It's just, you know, that's kind of what they did.
He's still beautiful. Chris Evans is 40. Is
Cat's
he
gonna gotta look this up
really?
now.
Wow.
Yes, Daddy is 40. I mean, well, was that loud?
Hmm,
And
Just a
forever
little
on the
bit.
internet?
just a little bit for posterity, for forever on YouTube.
That just blew my whole mind that he's 40. I thought he was still like 32.
Nope.
All right, we have hit 10 o'clock. I don't know that we have too much left in us because we've kind of gone through a lot. Oguruk, thank you for tuning in. Do you have any questions for us before we wrap things up for tonight and let you know about the upcoming adventures this week and in the future? Or anybody else in chat that has any other questions for us? Or anybody else on stream that has anything they want to ask, because I've kind of run out of my questions myself.
Nope.
Nope. No. Did we make fun of Overdrive?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Obviously.
Thanks for showing up.
It's like, would it be another war stream if we
Yeah.
didn't?
Go watch the replay in case you didn't get enough.
All right. Well,
I have anti-groupies. Like, what is up with that? Not how it's supposed to work out.
We love you, Kevin.
Is he
all right.
Overdrive or is he Booster Gold? We don't know.
Oh, wow.
Wiki, I think our moderator bot's a little harsher than others. I will put it that way.
Yes. Yes.
Put it that
Use
way.
the exclamation point in place of eyes. That's how I get it on it.
No, don't do that, Kevin.
In place of eyes.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us tonight. We'll be back next week with an actual episode of Netherwar because Alex will be back.
The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will not be televised. The inmates will not be running the asylum next week, or will we? Because I mean, let's be honest, we kind of do anyway.
do.
Kind of do. Tomorrow night, our City of Destiny crew is taking a hiatus because of Alex's honeymoon. They are playing 7th Sea, second edition. The granddad of the group is running the players and the GM, I believe, through a 7th Sea module. So come tune in for that if you're interested in that. I believe we may have a new blog post up on Thursday this week over on UntoldStoriesProject.com. Next week we'll be back. I mean, yes, he is kind of one of the inmates too. He thinks he runs the place though, so he doesn't think he's an inmate.
Yeah.
He's just the delusional one that thinks he's the warden
With the keys.
with the keys.
But it turns out he's just Sophie in disguise. So it's all good.
Oh, so we'll be back.
Oh, man.
We'll be back next week with more Netherwar. We'll be back next week with more City of Destiny. And later this month, we'll be doing some one-shots. What we did last year when we started the channel, and we're continuing it this year, is we kind of do some holiday season one-shots where we take some different systems that we don't play on stream, and we just kind of run everybody through a 3-hour adventure with them. I have a game coming up on the 1st of December for Things from the Flood. I know Wiki is going to be running Crash Pandas at some point. Not sure what else is on the agenda, but I'm sure we can get that info out to everybody at some point in time. All right, so I'll give everyone a chance to sign off for the night, and then we will get on out of here. Let's start it backwards. Kevin, or Calvin.
I was like, that is literally
It's not backwards. Not backwards.
That's not backwards at all.
My brain is backwards.
I just want to say, I have been having like a ton of fun ever since I first came on this channel for like those one shots like a year ago, and now being in this game for so many months, it's just been like a highlight of the year, and I'm really glad that I get to be here and looking forward to whatever happens to us next. To make a short goodbye very long. Also, to self-promote myself, please check out my channel, Win with Dice, over on YouTube. We have weekly gaming streams from playing Skyrim, and also weekly GM podcasts. We have one this week. We're talking about some homebrew mechanics and stuff that I thought was pretty fun. So come check that out on Wednesday. And I guess going backwards, I'll go to Kat.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Hey guys, hope you had fun. Sorry about some of the technical difficulties, you know. Whatever.
No one noticed.
I don't have anything to plug or anything, so watch some of our other shows, watch the cool one-shots coming up, and watch Calvin's channel. And I will pass it to Jonesy.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I will be back here next week playing Mortis. As far as things to plug, if you are liking Netherwar and you want to run it for your own friends, it's available on Chart the RPG, the Green Red Star, and the first 3 chapters are now available on Roll20.
Yay!
Sorry, I'm on the VTT team for Roll20 for Green Running, so I'm going to push that. So with that, Overdrive, over to you.
Okay, well, I'll be back on Monday. A lot of great shows here to check out. A lot of great products coming from Green Ronin and from the Roll20 team. If you're having a blast, dive right in head first. See you next week. Over to you, Andy.
All right. Like I said, thanks everyone for hanging out with us tonight as we kind of recapped our second, I would say, half, but we're not quite done with it yet. So, of Netherwar. So, had a blast bashing Alex, having fun with each other. Just, you know.
I mean, we love him, but also
we do. We do. He's not here. He makes himself an easy target when he leaves us alone like this. And then he gets us back in the coming weeks. So I mean, we're just, you know, we're just putting ourselves out there to be food for the fodder. Come check out our website. Come view us on YouTube. Leave us comments if you're liking what we're doing, because we'd like to hear feedback and see what else everyone's thinking about what the content is we're putting out. We'll be doing Netherwar for a bit longer, hopefully into 2022 for a little bit, and then new stuff coming down the pipeline at some point, and we'll be excited to share it with you when we get there. So from all of us at the Untold Stories Project, have a wonderful evening, wonderful day, depending on when you're watching this, and we will see you next time.